Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday, October 17th, 2025. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. Well, last night, the New York City mayor's race debate was had. And it went, I think, as most people anticipated it would, at least as I anticipated it would. Created some headlines today, some viral moments today, and the final result is that Mom Donnie is now the odds-on favorite to win the mayor's race, more so than he's been throughout the entire campaign. So we'll look at some of the highlights of that, and then I'm going to explain why this is a very significant moment for the Republicans, that if they don't recognize what's happening here, then they are going to set themselves up for failure in 2026 and 2028. And there's a lot of Republicans that want to bury their head in the sand on this, and they want to get real stubborn about where right-wing politics is at. And so they can't seem to look at this from an objective point of view. They can't seem to look at this from a reality point of view. They're stuck in their own bubble. They're stuck in their own viewpoint. And I'm going to explain why that's not a good thing if they want to take the midterm. So we're going to look into that and some of the responses and how it ties into the larger issue right now on the right and the split, the rift, if you will, within MAGA. Or whatever is even left of MAGA. You don't really hear MAGA too often anymore, do you? Not too many people are saying MAGA. Not too many people are talking about Make America Great Again. It's kind of just faded away. I'm going to really get into the new algorithm on X. And I haven't done this in a while. But a lot of the things I was reporting on, I guess it was about a year or so ago. Many of you may have been following those reports about a year or so ago. And everything I said then turned out to be right and true. And then I just kind of gave up talking about it. But now there's some new developments and I see people complaining. So I'm going to tell you what's really going on with the algorithm. And even though people are complaining, and that's fine, there's plenty of reasons to complain. I'm going to tell you why you should actually be happy about the new algorithm and how, if you're smart, you can actually use it to your advantage. So I'm going to tell you about that today. So if you're a user on X and you want to know how to use the algorithm to your advantage and not get the bad with whatever the new algorithm changes are, I think I can give you some good insight into that. We're going to look at some other AI news. You know, this is big. I've been talking about how AI and the data centers and the energy it's going to require are going to be a major factor when it comes to our energy grid and when it comes to energy prices. But now OpenAI made an announcement, and now there's a new angle to this. And there's a little catchphrase that's kind of going viral with it. And this is the kind of thing that when people hear it, they'll nod their head and they'll say, yeah, that's actually, maybe we should think twice about all of this AI stuff. Maybe we should. So we'll talk about that. We'll tie that into Palantir, as Palantir and Alex Karp are back in the news today. Oh boy. And this, do you want the AI surveillance spy grid on you 24/7 in America? Do you want that? Well, most people wouldn't want that, right? Well, now some people say they do want that, and I'll tell you why. Vladimir Zelensky was at the White House today meeting with President Trump. They took questions from the press, so we'll get into some of the news that came out of that meeting. I believe they're having a late lunch right now, and then I think the Zelensky is about to leave. I think they're going to have a late lunch, another secondary meeting without the press, and then I think that's it. I think Zelensky's done. So this could all be happening right now. We'll give any other updates if they shall come. And then we'll look at some other geopolitical news as well. And then there's some other law enforcement news today. It's a Friday, so I would like to take a lot of calls as well. All of that and more coming up on today's Owen Report.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
You don't want to play my music, huh? You're going to deny me my music. And I was in a good mood, too. I was feeling real nicey. And now I can't get music. This is crushing. This is crushing for a cracker. I almost wanted to just not even cover news. You know, I can do whatever I want now. I can do whatever I want now. I don't even have to cover news if I don't want to. I can do whatever I want. I'm Owen, and this is the Owen Report. I thought about just listening to news today. I was kind of like, you know what? Or listening to music. I was like, I kind of just want to listen to music today. Would you like to just listen to some good music? And now I try to play music, and I get nothing. Is the universe trying to make me angry? Is the universe? I was feeling nicey today. I'll be honest, I was mad yesterday. I was mad. I can't help it. I get attacked. I don't like it when I get labeled things that I'm not. I really don't like it when I'm called a traitor and a foreign agent. That angers me. So I was mad yesterday. I was mean yesterday. I recognize that. Might have been too much at times. Today I was feeling nicey. It's a Friday. It's a beautiful day in Austin. Thinking, you know, I don't want to be mad today. I don't want to be mean today. Maybe we just chill, take some phone calls, listen to music. And then I get this. I can't even listen to my music on a Friday. What is going on? What is the deal? How can this be happening? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna close that. Because this is unsatisfactory. This is very unsatisfactory for me. I don't like this. And you come in feeling nicey. Thank you.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Thank you. Man. That's more like it. That's what I'm talking about. So, do we want to start on the Mamdani phenomenon? Do we want to start with the reactions to last night's debate? We could start there, and I just hate to be redundant, and I've been really talking about this whole Mamdani thing and why Republicans are missing the bigger picture here, and how if they really decide to turn a blind eye to this, that it will cost them in the midterms. Now, the redistricting might save things, but politically speaking, they're burying their heads in the sand on this issue, and they just don't get it. And then I see the coping mechanisms going on, because let's just call it what it is. There's a major divide on the right on the topic of Israel. That's what it is. And you have to understand, when you try to do a deeper dive into this divide and you try to understand where the sides are coming from, the picture is pretty clear. I don't think it's a gray area. I don't think it's a foggy window. I think it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear to me, at least. And if you look at the people that were around in 2015, 2016, 2017, maybe they like Israel, maybe they don't, but they're upset because they feel like so far in the second administration, they're not getting America first. They're not getting MAGA, and they're getting Israel prioritized. And so that's the real original Trump base. That's the real original MAGA. Again, maybe they like Israel, maybe they don't, but it's not their issue. Their issue is America. They put all the skin in the game. They paid the price because they wanted to help America. They're not interested in other countries. And then you have the Johnny-come-latelys and all of these anonymous accounts on X that get a big following that are obviously pro-Israel, very pro-Israel. And whether that's an organic thing or if that's a paid thing doesn't make a difference because the phenomenon is still the same. So you've got the original MAGA over here that maybe they like Israel, maybe they don't, but politically speaking, they don't like the direction, the policies, and the practices of the second Trump administration so far. And then you've got the people that joined MAGA post-2020 that are all very pro-Israel, and then all of these anonymous X accounts that are all very pro-Israel. And so there's this divide. There's this major divide in the right wing. Now, this kind of ties into the Mamdani situation, but that's just like one piece of the puzzle. That's not the larger puzzle. It's just like a little one maybe corner of the puzzle. But so I see these accounts, and this is why I was so mad yesterday, is they've decided to start targeting me and putting me on lists and calling me a traitor. I'm not the one that prioritizes a foreign country, so that's just pure projection. But this is why I was angry yesterday. And I see it continuing today. And it's really continuing after this Mamdani victory last night and how he's set to win the mayor's race. But what I see is that most people are completely missing the issue. And this is where this whole woke right conversation comes into play. The pro-Israel right is in denial. They're in denial that there are people on the right wing that don't want to support Israel. They're in denial that there are people in the Trump voting base that don't like Netanyahu. They're in total denial of this. And so because of this denial, they are making false accusations. They're making false equivalencies. They're projecting. And many of them now are just spiraling out of control. They've realized that they've lost the narrative. They realize now that to the majority of people, they look like a foreign asset, a foreign agent. So now they're blocking anybody. Like this big account. Let me pull it up here. I had to take a screenshot. I'd share this on the screen with you, but this account blocked me. I don't even know why. It turns out this account is on a huge blocking spree right now. This account, clandestine, war clandestine, I believe is the @ clandestine. And I followed this account because they did good war updates. I don't even know if I remember any opinion. They might have leaned pro-Israel, but they did good war coverage. It was just good to me. It was just good neutral war coverage. They were just reporting war facts. Well, this account grew pretty big. I don't know what the number is. Again, I'm blocked. I can't look at the account, and they have no idea why I'm blocked. But it turns out a bunch of people are blocked now. So, okay, I do like to follow this account. They do good war coverage. Okay. And I go and I try to see some updates. Oh, I'm blocked. And then I'm able to have somebody send me what's going on. And this account now is attacking people on the right that don't stand with Israel. Now, imagine you're a Trump supporter. You're an American flag-waving patriot, conservative, and you feel like there's been more momentum in your favor politically than ever before. You feel like President Trump has moved the ball more for right-wing politics than anybody in recent memory. So you feel good about this? You feel like you're a part of the team? You're a contributing factor in this? And then here come all of these people that you've never seen or heard from before. And here come all of these anonymous accounts on X, and they're attacking you, and they're trying to push you out of the movement that you were a founding member of. They're trying to push you out of the movement that you're an original cast member of. And you're kind of just like, I mean, it's got to be, it's a little insulting. Maybe it's a little depressing. It's offensive. It's confusing. But then it's disheartening and it's disenfranchising because you're saying, well, wait a second. We were all on this team moving the ball downfield. I thought we were all on the same team. And now all of a sudden, you're changing jerseys. Now all of a sudden, you're wanting me to wear a different uniform. And we're just saying we're not doing that. And you're saying, okay, you're no longer on the team. Well, it's a different team now. So actually, you're no longer on the team, and you were actually never on the team. But now you're just claiming you own the team, and you're changing the ownership, and you're changing the jerseys, and you're telling us that we're not welcome anymore. So that's the phenomenon here. And this is part of the piece of the puzzle of why Mamdani is so popular and why so many young right-wingers who voted for Trump support Mamdani. Because now the right wing has done so much work in the last 8 months to disenfranchise the young men that voted for Trump. And now they're feeling obstinate. And now the right wing establishment has become so cringe that they don't want nothing to do with it. So now they're forming into this kind of petty retribution block of they would rather see Democrats win and they would rather see socialists win just to return the middle finger to the new right-wing establishment that decided to push them out of the movement and say, we don't need you. So they're saying, really, you don't need us? Okay, you're going to find out the hard way then, that actually you do need us. And without us, you're going to get commies elected. Now, you can say this is bad strategy, bad politics, whatever. That's just what's going on. That's just part of the equation of what's going on. But so this war clandestine account, which I guess is blocking anybody now on the right that won't support Israel. But again, even that's like a false paradigm. I have nothing against the Israeli people. I don't like Netanyahu, and I don't like America's foreign policy. And I don't like in Israel's influence over that. So it's even this false paradigm. It's this false context of, oh, you don't support Israel. And then they take it to the next level. They call you, I don't even want to go there. So they post this, and I guess this is like the antithesis of the blocking from clandestine. Warning to MAGA. Now, again, keep in mind, allow me to reiterate. Warning to MAGA. You have an anonymous account. Nobody knows who you are. You didn't have any public profile until a year or so ago. You weren't there in 2015 and 16. You weren't there fighting against the steal in 2020. Are you even American? I don't know. Nobody knows who you are. You're an anonymous account that did great war coverage, got a lot of followers. But now you're going to send out a message saying warning to MAGA? Who are you? Who are you to give a warning to MAGA? You're an anonymous X account that does war coverage. You don't send messages to MAGA. You don't do PA to MAGA. You don't dictate to MAGA. Who the hell are you? And so again, this is where my frustration is, and I'm feeling nicey today. So don't worry. We're not gonna blow a gasket. We're not going to raise our voice. We're feeling nicey on a Friday. It's okay. This is my first cup of coffee, so it's all right. First cup of blackout coffee right here. Everything's fine. Very smooth. Very nice. But so imagine I'm sitting here. I've been supporting Trump since 2015. I've gone through everything. Everybody knows my story. I've gone through the whole thing. And then I've got some anonymous X account that hasn't even been anything until the last couple of years. And now you're dictating to MAGA? Who do you think you are? Nobody knows who you are. You weren't there. You are not MAGA. And so that's the problem, is all these people who are these Johnny-come-latelys, all of these people, these sunshine patriots, are now dictating to MAGA and pushing out the original MAGA, pushing out the diehard MAGA, pushing out the OG MAGA, pushing out the fighting MAGA. These people aren't going to fight. This account is apparently so scared. This account is apparently so frightened that they have to turn off replies and block everybody. Kind of like definitely not Mossad asset Aaron Wexler. Definitely not an Israeli asset Aaron Wexler, who pops out of nowhere, gets a puff piece in the New Yorker magazine, bunch of following on social media. Totally not an Israeli asset Aaron Wexler. Same thing. She has to block people. She has to turn off replies because it's all negative. So it's just like, first of all, do you have no self-awareness? Do you have no self-awareness at all? When 98 of the replies to your post are negative, maybe you should start doing some self-examining. No, instead you reject this and you just block everybody and turn off replies, just like this clandestine account. Again, Aaron Wexler, not there, didn't fight against the steal in 2020, wasn't there in 2016. And she might have been young. She could have been 16 years old. I don't know. But point is, she wasn't there. And neither was clandestine. And now you're going to tell me, who's been in this fight for 10 years, and really before that, but specifically in MAGA for 10 years, I've fought and bled. I've sacrificed life and treasure for this. And then you're going to ride in here on your silver spoon and dictate to me what MAGA is? Allow me to say this very kindly and calmly. Fuck you. And this is why you're sitting here stunned that Mamdani is winning by such a margin. All the young men that Trump was able to bring in to the MAGA movement, all the young men, you have now successfully pushed out half of them. They're done. And now they're either not going to vote or they're going to vote Democrat just to spite you. And I can already hear your reaction. Well, that's stupid. Why would you vote for Democrat? It doesn't matter. That's what's going to happen. That's what's already happening. I'm just telling you what's happening. See, it's kind of like they always love to do this thing where they shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what's happening. So now these anonymous accounts that came out of nowhere, warning to MAGA. Again, I have to read this. It's sent to me in a screenshot because I can't look at this account. They blocked me. The enemy have recognized that they can no longer effectively smear Trump from the left, so they have shifted their tactics. They really believe this stuff. They really think that Owen Schroyer is a foreign agent. They really think that Owen Schroyer is a leftist. And so again, I'm a friend. I'm a friend. I like to debate. I like to disagree. And then you know what I like to do? I like to be friends afterwards. So I'm a friend to you. I'm not your enemy. And I'm just trying to help you here. I'll use myself as an example, but this is the whole phenomenon. We're not leftists. We're not foreign agents. We're original MAGA. We are the people that have paid the most. We are the people that created this gigantic wave that you are now riding. And just because we disagree on this one issue, you want to push us out, the founders, the fighters, and you want to push us out and then just have this make-believe thing like the left that we're this, that, or the other thing, a Nazi, a foreign agent, a liberal, a leftist. And this is why you're the woke right, but you can't accept that fact either. You're in total denial of this. And then they're stunned that Mamdani can win. Mamdani can win because of you. Communists and socialists will get elected because of you. You have once again, it's so phenomenal. The right wing became cool. It finally became cool to be on the right. It finally became popular for a young man to be a proud conservative. And you guys have ruined the whole thing. You've made it cringe again. You've made it intolerable again. You've made it a giant turnoff again. We were cool, man. We had a window of time where we were cool. We were popular. People wanted to be a part of this. And now you guys have come in here and co-opted it. And now it's cool. And now it's not cool anymore. Now it's gay. Now it's fake and gay. And nobody wants to be a part of it anymore. And now they want to go out and vote for Mamdani. You guys are doing this, not us. You guys. So this is the warning to MAGA. No, this is my warning to you. So they really believe this crap. And then they name us off by names, the people that they've blocked. And they say that we vehemently hate Trump. What? We don't have hate in our hearts. That's a you thing, I guess. And they just go on. And then they post photos of the founding fathers. The founding fathers warned against foreign entanglements. You guys are the opposite of the founding fathers. We are the genes. We are the DNA. We are the makeup of the founding fathers, not you. You guys are the Benedict Arnolds. And isn't the total proof in the fact that you have to block everybody that disagrees with you? Isn't the total proof in the fact that you have to turn off your replies? It's like, where does the self-awareness hit? When does the self-realization happen that, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. It's like I can accept when I'm wrong. I can accept when I make a mistake. It's called being a human. And you know what? You learn from it. You get better. Perfect example. Yesterday, I knew I was too hot yesterday. I was too mad yesterday. I was too mean yesterday. I know that. So I said, you know what? I need to calm down. I need to be a little nicer today. Maybe drink a little less blackout coffee before I go on air. Whatever. Calm down, Schroyer. But you guys have no sense of self-awareness. You have none. You know, I've got some other examples of this. I don't want to spend too much more time on this. But I, you know, the funny thing is they're losing so badly. And it's just like, again, this is now beyond self-awareness, because now it's like, who was it? Somebody, they always say this. Somebody else said this to me about politics in a social media post. And they said something along the lines of, I remember first it was the Kamala Harris impersonator last year, or I guess it was this year. It's so late now. Can you believe it's mid-October? And she said, well, all you care about is being right. And I'm like, that's supposed to be an insult? Esti Patel, or whatever her name is. Sweet lady. I like her. But, you know, she doesn't like me because I don't have the same foreign policy that she has. So, okay. So she attacks me. And she says, because she can't beat me in a debate, obviously. She says, well, all you care about is being right. And I'm like, yeah. And what, do you want to be wrong? Is that your thing then? So is that what you do? You care about being wrong? Because you are wrong about nearly everything now. But it's like, well, yeah, I host a show for 3 hours a day. And so, yes, I want to be right about everything so that my audience trusts me and they tune in because they know I say things that are true and that I'm right. So, yeah, I am obsessed with being right. And then I had this other one in a geopolitical debate, and they say, well, geez, you know, all you care about is winning. Who are these people? So I'm bad because I care about being right, And I care about winning politically. So what does that make you? You like being wrong, and you like losing politically. And you're about to find it all out the hard way. So you see where this is going? So the people like me that like to be right and like to win are being pushed out by people who like to be wrong and like to lose. And now they're wrong about everything, and they're losing elections, and they can't figure out why. I don't know. It's a giant mystery. Can't figure it out. Wish I could help. I'd try to help, but you block me on social media and you mute your replies. So nothing I can do. So let's bring this into the Mamdani situation from last night with the debate. And maybe we'll start with some video clips. Let's go here. I'll save the Mamdani played you guys so badly. Look, I can disagree with everything Mamdani says, okay? I could disagree with everything he says, every policy stance he takes. But the guy is charismatic, and the guy had a great debate performance. And you might think he's stupid, but he just played all of you. And he did it. It was so easy. This is what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm like, people keep saying, you need to go out and debate these leftists. They got the No Kings protest coming to Austin. Why? What are you guys doing? We've been doing this for 10 years. We just won the election. Why are we still dealing with these people? But why was it so fun? Why was it so fun? Why was it so entertaining when Owen Schroyer would go out and own the libs? Why was it so viral when Owen Schroyer would go out and own the Trump protesters? It's because they were so easy to embarrass, because they were so predictable. That's the right now. That's the woke right. You guys are the ones that are predictable. And Mamdani just played all of you like a fiddle last night, and you all fell for it. It was the most obvious thing. And as soon as I saw the clip, I was like, oh my gosh. That's genius what he just did. They're all going to fall for it. And then sure enough, all day today, they're all falling for it. So that's a deep tease. First, let's go to Cuomo here. And predictably, I knew that Cuomo would take the Israeli angle. And I see all these people. Folks, the New York Jews, they're mostly liberal. Most of them are liberal. Most of them are Democrat voters. Conservative Jews leave New York. They go to Florida. The conservative Jews don't stay in New York. They all go to Florida. The liberal Jews stay in New York. You're not getting the Jewish vote. Mamdani will get the Jewish vote. Mark my words. When the polling data comes out, when the voting data comes out, New York Jews will vote for Mamdani. Do not doubt me on this. That is a guarantee. Sometimes these people, they don't even live in reality, folks. They don't even try. So here's Cuomo. And again, they think this is a winning message. And I can understand why. But in American politics, it's just not, because people don't care.
Assemblyman will not denounce Hamas. The Assemblyman will not denounce Hassan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11. The Assemblyman just said in his response, well, it depends on occupation. That is code, meaning that Israel does not have a right to exist as a Jewish state, which he has never acknowledged. That is from the river to the sea. That's why he won't denounce globalize the Intifada, which means kill all Jews.
Let's give Mr. Mamdani a chance to respond to that.
I want to be very clear. The occupation is a reference to international law and the violation of it, which Mr. Cuomo has no regard for since he signed up to be Benjamin Netanyahu's legal defense team during the course of this genocide. And I find the comments that Hassan made on 9/11 to be objectionable and reprehensible. And I also think that part of the reason why Democrats are in the situation that we are in, of being a permanent minority in this country, is we are looking only to speak to journalists and streamers and Americans with whom we agree of every single thing that they they say. We need to take the case to every person, and I'm happy to do that, which is why I was on Fox News yesterday talking about how I wish it was more like NASCAR so we could see all the billionaires who are sponsoring you
Mr.
right
Mamdani,
on your
thank
suit
you.
jacket.
He just whooped Cuomo's ass. Cuomo, who comes from a political family, who's been in politics for decades, and Mamdani just whooped your ass. I'm telling you, it's really strange to me, and I understand that not everybody sees the world the way I see it or interprets information and compresses information and comprehends information. Everybody does differently. But it's just like they'll never learn. Dude, Americans are not going to the polls to vote against Hamas. They're not doing it. Americans are not going to the polls to vote on the Israel issue. Except now they're going to go to the polls to vote against Israel. That's what's going to happen now. Because they're so sick of it. And you guys just, for some reason, you just can't get it. You just can't wrap your head around it. No matter how much evidence is in front of you. It's all in front of you. No matter how loud it is, no matter how voluminous it is, you just won't accept it. People in New York City are not going to the polls to vote against Hamas. Why are you even talking about these geopolitical issues in a mayor's debate? They're sick of it. And then Mamdani brings it back to America and talks about America and talks about American issues. And that's why he's winning. And that's why he jumped up to they say a 21-point lead. It doesn't matter. It's over. It's over. He's going to win. Don't even be surprised if Cuomo takes a buyout and drops out. In fact, I would almost bet he will. He knows he's not going to win. If he can take a $25 million buyout, he's going to drop out. He's going to take the cash and run because he's a dirtbag. And they just don't get it. And this is who the Republicans are backing now, by the way. The Republicans are backing Cuomo. The Republicans are funding Cuomo's campaign. The same social media influencers that Trump invites to the White House and that work for Bibi Netanyahu are endorsing Andrew Cuomo. You guys are so out of touch with reality. And I mean, I'm trying to help you, but you're not interested. Here's the Airbnb co-founder and Trump official gives $2 million in support of Cuomo. Folks, Trump cabinet members and Trump social media influencers are backing Cuomo. They're backing Cuomo. They're not even backing Sliwa, who actually had a good performance in the debate. I was actually impressed by Sliwa during the debate. He kind of lacks the political aura because he's probably just so down to earth. It's like you can't even do it when you're that down to earth, when you're that real of a guy. It's like it's hard to be a politician when you're that real. That's the problem that Sliwa has, is he's actually so real. He's so down to earth. He's actually so entrenched on the streets of New York City. It's like it's actually impossible for you to win. But he actually did well. But see, they're not backing Sliwa. They're not giving millions of dollars to the Sliwa campaign. The big digital social media influencers for Netanyahu and Trump, they're not endorsing Sliwa. They're not doing videos with Sliwa. They're not promoting Sliwa. They're promoting Cuomo. And that dirtbag is going to cut and run. He's going to cut and run. And this is where I kind of get that little nasty streak. I'm a little ornery. And this is where I kind of get that little orneriness in me. I can't help it. But it's like, I want him to cut and run. I want Cuomo to cut and run so that all of you people with your head up your ass might finally think about removing it. Maybe. Just maybe. When you get played by Cuomo and Mamdani wins by 30 points just maybe, it'll be the wake-up call. Maybe. Like 2% chance that you'll finally pull your head out of the sand. I hope Cuomo cuts and runs. Just so you can realize, hopefully you can realize how foolish you are right now. But I guess it's like the mystery of victory, where some people think that victory in politics is the final stage, when victory in politics is actually the beginning stage. So they have this weird paradoxical approach to politics, thinking, oh, we won, it's over, when it's no, oh, we won, it's just beginning. So I think there's a pretty good chance that Cuomo cuts and runs, and I hope he does. I think it would be hilarious. And all the people that tried to prop him up and get him across the finish line, that are on the right, by the way, as if you don't look dumb enough already, as if you don't look foolish enough already, maybe that will finally be the one. When you're standing up there with the nursing home killer, and then he drops out. It'd be beautiful. I'm not going to lie. I would enjoy that. That's a little ornery. It's a little mean. I'll admit it. But it's the truth. It's the truth. So here's Mamdani playing them like a fiddle. And this is why there is no, again, I could go out and I can go to the No Kings protest and get content and deal with these leftists. It's like, I've been doing it for 10 years, folks. Now it's actually entertaining. Now the cuck destroying is actually against the right. It's just true. It's just true. They're so easy to predict. They're so predictable. They're so easy to walk into a trap because now they're brainwashed. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So Mamdani played him. And as soon as I heard this clip, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it's all happened today. But he played you guys. You guys are so predictable. He played you like a fiddle last night. Again, it's just like this self-awareness. You have zero self-awareness. So here's the clip. Went viral, kind of stole the show, and then got the major response today.
Democratic primary for him to set foot in a mosque. He had more than 10 years, and he couldn't name a single mosque at the last debate we had that he visited. And what Muslims want in this city is what every community wants and deserves. They want equality, and they want respect. And it took me to get you to even see those Muslims as part of this city. And that, frankly, is something that is shameful and is why so many New Yorkers have lost faith in this politics.
Yeah, except that is totally false. I worked with the Muslim community for many years.
Name a single mosque you went to when you were the governor. Can you name a single mosque you went to in 10 years?
Before you were ever here.
Before I was here.
Before you were even in state government. I worked with the Muslim community. Yeah. Imams presided over State of the States. We worked in religious working groups, tolerance groups, anti-Semitic groups, etc.
All right, gentlemen.
So, I think he knew exactly what he was doing, or he just had a lucky shot. And obviously, he does care about the Muslim community. He's a Muslim himself. And there are a lot of Muslims in New York, so you're trying to play up to that vote. But no. Maybe he had the foresight. Maybe he didn't. But as soon as I heard that, I said, oh, my gosh. I know what they're going to do. And they're going to twist it, and they're going to say, Mamdani says that you have to go to a mosque if you want to get elected. And they all did it right on cue. They all did it. They all put it in the headlines. They all put it on their social media posts. You had Republicans in Congress saying, Mamdani thinks it should be a requirement to visit a mosque to get elected. They all did it. And you know what else all of them did? They all went to Israel and they all kissed the wall. He played you guys. He played you like a fiddle. And now you're out here complaining for the American people to see this idea that you should have to go visit a mosque if you want to be in American politics and how bad that is. But of course, that doesn't happen. Everybody goes to Israel. Everybody kisses the wall. Everybody wears the hat. That's what actually happens in American politics. That's what actually happens before you win an election. That's the actual prerequisite. And he just baited all of you. And you all took the bait. You're the woke right. You're the cucks. I witnessed, I observed, and I engaged in debate with this behavior from the left for 10 years. It's you now. Now it's you. And I know that there's so much propaganda and so much psyop. It's years long, and it's a hard thing for you to break out of. And maybe it is a big issue. Maybe Israel is genuinely a big issue for you. But that doesn't change the facts that he just played you like a fiddle. He baited it, and you took the bait. And now all of you are complaining, saying, how dare he say you should have to visit a mosque to win an election? But every single one of you will make sure that the candidates you vote for go put on a yarmulke and kiss the Wailing Wall in Israel before you vote for them. He played you. You've been played. That's why you're the woke right. That's why you're blocking everybody and turning off your comments and calling everybody a Nazi. But it sucks because now you're so cringe that young men want nothing to do with you. And they don't want to vote for Republicans because you're so cringe now. These are just the facts. Try not to shoot the messenger. Dangerous time to deliver these messages. Try not to shoot the messenger. Here's another example of shooting the messenger. So there's a couple of lessons that you could learn potentially from this. So Jack Posobiec was obviously, I guess, doing live coverage of the debate on his X account. And he says, Mamdani says Israel committed a genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. And we just played the clip where Mamdani called it a genocide. Now, this is just Jack delivering a message. And look, I know Jack personally. I'm friends with Jack. I have things I disagree with Jack on. I'm sure he has things that he disagrees with me on. But just so people understand, so if it sounds like I'm maybe defensive of him here, okay, maybe. But really, I understand what's happening here because it happens to me all the time where you just report a fact. Jack provides no opinion on this post. He just says, Mamdani says Israel committed a genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. No opinion there. That's just a fact. That's what happened. But look at the relentless attacks. But see, notice how Jack doesn't block anybody. Jack isn't out here mass blocking. Jack isn't turning off his replies. So there's the difference right there. But okay, look at these replies, folks. I mean, these are all right wingers. These are all Trump voters, mind you. Look at all the replies. It's got over 1,000 replies. Mamdani's not wrong. He's right. If you disagree, you're retarded. And then people, posting the Epstein photos, everything. He's right. It's true. I mean, it's just on and on. The videos of it. Every single one. So again, this is, the shooting the messenger thing. Jack didn't say he disagreed with it. Jack didn't provide an opinion on it. He just said, Mamdani just said that. And it's true. But this happens all the time. You just report a fact, you just say a fact, and people come and shoot the messenger. And so this is why I always encourage people to please just listen to what I say. Listen to what I say. Listen to what I post. I word things very intentionally so that there are no misunderstandings. Don't listen to what you think I'm saying. Don't listen to what you're interpreting or you're thinking I'm insinuating. Listen to what I'm actually saying and respond to that. But point is, 99% of the replies here are negative because they think Jack is saying it wasn't a genocide or whatever. And they're all Trump supporters, folks. These are all Trump supporters. This is how badly they're losing. And that's why these accounts are blocking everybody and muting replies because it's all negative. So instead of accepting the world around them, instead of accepting the reality on these issues, they instead try to just mute it and turn it down and pretend it doesn't exist. It's kind of like this. La 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 la. That's the right now. That's the right. That's the cringe right. That's the woke right. La 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 la. That's what they do. Just like the left has done for 10 years. You try to tell them about Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. Try to defend Donald Trump. What do? La 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 la. Now it's the woke right, the cringe right. You try to have a debate on foreign policy, Israel, Gaza, the whole la 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 la. You just oh man, what are we gonna do with you guys anyway? What are we gonna do with you guys? I hope you don't cost the good guys the midterms. But at this rate, you just might. You just might. And I would even say, people would be perfectly fine with the Republican Party platform still supporting Israel. And they would just take it and they just say, well, it's politics. You take the wins with the losses. I think, and you could even argue that they already have in the past. But I actually think young Americans, I think the young men now that are sick of hearing about Israel, I bet they would still be willing to go out and vote for Republicans, even if Israel was on the platform. But now that you've insulted them, now that you've demeaned them and smeared them and accused them and put them on lists and attacked them, now they're not going to. If we would have just had a policy disagreement, if we just would have had some passionate debates and dialogue on the issue, I bet these young men would still go out and vote Republican and be proud to do so. But because you tried to push us out and attack and smear us, now they're not going to vote. They're not going to vote. I'll probably vote out of principle because I do believe that everybody should vote if you can, out of principle. But most young men won't because of your actions. And I bet they would have. If it just would have been a nice debate, a nice disagreement, and you could have just left the personal lies and attacks and everything out of it, then it probably would have been okay. We probably could have rode this momentum through the midterms. But now they're not going to vote. Or they're going to go out and they're going to vote for a Democrat. And just like you're sitting here scratching your head at how Mamdani can be winning the New York mayor's race, it's going to be the same thing in the midterms. You're going to say, how could the Democrats win? And you're just going to refuse to ever look in the mirror. You're going to refuse to ever take any responsibility for anything, ever. Congressman Brandon Gill going to a mosque is apparently a prerequisite to becoming a mayor in America's biggest city. Something has gone terribly wrong. I like Brandon Gill. Son-in-law to Dinesh D'Souza. I believe he's a Texas district. What district is he? 26. I like Brandon Gill. He's one of the good guys in Congress. You were just in Israel, Brandon. You were literally just in Israel. And you know damn well that you and your colleagues put on a yarmulke and go kiss the wall. There's no prerequisite to go to a mosque. Mamdani just played you guys. You just got played by a communist. You think communists are dumb? You just got played by one. So what does that make you? What do you think? I think I've successfully, I don't know. I was going to explain why Mamdani won. I think I've successfully explained it though. I didn't really bullet point it out like this is why Mamdani won, but basically I think we've covered all the corners here. I think we've covered all the corners. And if you've been following me, you know I predicted this day one. I predicted this before the primaries when Mamdani he was number 3 in polling, they said. He was number 3 in poly market chances to win. And I went on air at the time and the week before the primary, and I said Mamdani's going to win. And then I had a bunch of other people in the media approach me. They said, you want to bet? There's no way. You want to bet? So I took a bunch of bets. And then they doubled down after he won the primary. He's not going to win the mayor's race. So you want to double or nothing? Yeah, I'll double or nothing. Okay, let's double or nothing. So I'm going to clean up when he wins. Just like I cleaned up in 2016 when Trump won. Oh. It's too easy, man. It's too easy. So there you go. He's going to win by at least 20 points. It might be 30. And if Cuomo drops out, it's really sad. I feel bad for Sliwa because he's such a great guy. And he really does care about the city. I don't know if he has the makeup to be mayor. I don't know. You know, he's not, he doesn't have the aura. He doesn't have the charisma, but he really does care. And he really is a great guy. And the Republicans won't even back him. They back Cuomo, who's probably going to cut and run. So it's just sad. This is the state of things right now. It's sad because we could have been kicking ass, taking names, could have been dominating politically. Who knows? Maybe we could have flipped New York. Might flip New Jersey. That race is getting tighter. Might flip New Jersey. Jack Citarelli is still behind, they say, by 5 points, but that's within striking distance. But it's like these things we should be dominating. The American right should be crushing politically. These things shouldn't even be close. But because these woke right conservative influencers are so cringe and not conservative at all, really, at the end of the day, we're not dominating. We're not crushing. We're not getting America first. And until that changes, I think the trends that we're seeing are going to continue. That's what I see. All right, we are about to close out. We are about to close out the first hour here. Yes, I am drinking my blackout coffee. And I had a couple people send me, because I tell you the truth, and I recommended the instant coffee from blackoutcoffee.com. And I had a couple people reach out and they said, hey, you were right about this instant coffee. I will never steer you wrong. Never doubt me. I will never steer you wrong. Now I'm now that I have my coffee machine set up, I'm drinking the pitch black espresso right now. And it's so great. That's what I'm sipping on here. Actually, I brought an extra glass of it here now. So I'll be 3 cups in by the time the show is done, probably 4. But the instant coffee, I'm telling, actually, somebody said they mixed the instant coffee with their espresso. I said, that's actually a great idea. I might have to try that. But, when you do instant coffee, it's like, it's not that good. It tastes like water. You never know what you're going to get with the actual, like, coffee. This stuff totally dissolves. There's not a bunch of fragments and things floating around. Totally dissolves in the water. Tastes like a regular cup of coffee. I'm telling you, folks. So I just had to let you know. that when you guys were reaching out saying you were right about the instant coffee from blackoutcoffee.com, I will never steer you wrong. And I hope you're taking advantage of this at the very least. Coffee drinkers, give it a chance. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. Use code Owen for 20% off your first order. I don't think you're going to find a better instant coffee out there, period. I don't know. You might have a coffee brand you like, but take advantage of 20% off. Give Blackout Coffee a shot. Just give them a shot. Take advantage of the 20% off. Just take advantage. We're giving you 20% off right now with coupon code Owen at checkout. Give them a shot. Give them a shot for 20% off. Support the show. Let the sponsors know you're going to support them if they support the show. Get yourself a great bag of coffee. I think you're going to love it like I do. I think you're going to be a repeat customer. But no matter what, the instant coffee is a total winner. And while you're there, there's ways you can support the troops. You go to blackoutcoffee.com. There's ways you can support the troops. Big veteran support team here at blackoutcoffee.com. You can learn all about that. You can learn about who they are. You can look at their gear. You can get the mug that I feature right here on air. It's all at blackoutcoffee.com. blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. Use coupon code Owen at checkout and get 20% off your order. At least take advantage of that. I'd like my coffee drinkers in the audience to switch to Blackout Coffee. That's your go-to, like it is for me. But just give it a shot for 20% off. Give it a shot for 20% off. And if you're a real coffee enthusiast, get the instant coffee. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. Get the instant coffee. I promise you that you will not regret.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Extra dimensional and multi-universal. Here's your host, Owen Schroyer.
Get a little worn down in between. Like a bull chasing the matadors, a man left with his own schemes. Everybody needs someone beside him, shining like a lighthouse from the sea. Girl, let me be your shelter. Never leave you.
All right, we're in hour number 2.
I can be the one you call when you know.
Forgot to turn the studio fan on. I forgot to turn the studio fan on. It was getting hot in here, so I had to go flip it on real quick. All right. What do we want to get into now? I got all this stuff where it's honestly, it is really crazy where a lot of the right has gone, isn't it? I got to say, I didn't see it coming. Really didn't see it coming. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. But now that it's here, we all see it. By the way, that's Brother singing that Gavin DeGraw from Need to Breathe. That's just good stuff. That's just good stuff on a Friday. All right, so let's go. Let's go with my old friend Laura Loomer. What do you think she's talking about today? I'll give you one guess. I know it's probably hard to figure it out. What do you think Laura Loomer is talking about today? Let's check in on old Loomer. Time to crack down on Islam. It should be illegal for Muslims to hold office in America. We need to ask President Trump to please stop the Islamification of America ASAP. There's no reason why jihadis should be holding office. These people are incompatible. All right. All right, guys. So, what do I say? If it can't be applied universally, it's not logic, it's propaganda. And people on the right love to apply this methodology when we're dealing with the race baiting. And you'll have things like Black Lives Matter, and then the right wing will come out and say White Lives Matter, just to show that the left-wing logic when it comes to these things is not logic, it's propaganda. So, okay, but let's apply it here. Oh boy. Can you imagine if somebody said, time to crack down on Jews? Can you imagine if somebody said it should be illegal for Jews to hold office in America? Can you imagine if somebody said it's time to stop the Jewification of America? If somebody said there's no reason why a Jew should hold office in America, they're incompatible. Can you imagine the response to that? There'd be outrage. There'd be investigation. There might be arrests. It'd be one of the biggest stories. But you can say that about Muslims and Islam. Why is that? Because if it can't be applied universally, it's not logic. It's propaganda. And that's all this is. That's all it is. So, hey, you can think whatever you want about Muslims and think whatever you want about Islam. I'm not making any opinion statements on that. I'm just reminding you. If it can't be applied universally, it's not logic. It's propaganda. And that's what this is. Pure propaganda. But it's actually more than that. It's actually much worse than that, to be honest. Because most people won't really care or be too offended by this, like they would be if you said it about a different religion. But this won't really move the needle for too many people. But now it gets a little more interesting with Loomer. I used to call Chip Roy a rhino, but he's really one of the few Republicans who is actually fighting back against the Islamification of America. What? Here's what Laura Loomer just said. I used to be against Chip Roy and think he was a Democrat until he decided that he is against Muslims and Islam too, and now I like him. So there you go. So is that America first? No. That's religious holy war first. That's Middle East politics first. You're a rhino and I don't like you until you support Israel. That's what that is. I actually am glad Laura Loomer is honest about it. And now she's honest again. She says, to be honest, I used to be pretty critical of Palantir, but the rise of Islam in the West is the biggest advertisement for Palantir tech. So in other words, I have no problem setting up an AI surveillance grid and stripping you of all your basic privacy rights as long as we can use it against Muslims. Wow. Thank you for your honesty, Laura. I really appreciate that. I really admire that about you, Laura. It's really honest of you. So you judge Republicans only on if they hate Muslims, and you judge violations of our rights and an AI surveillance grid only if it can be used against Muslims. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, Laura. I really do. I'm not sure how the rest of America would feel about that. But I'm glad to know how you feel. And this is why it's coming, by the way. See? This is why it's coming. And this is going to be the excuse. And this is why they're telling you to hate Muslims. And this is why they're telling you 9/11 was Muslims. And this is why they're telling you there's going to be an Islamic terror attack. This is trauma-based mind control. This is paranoid schizophrenia. And they're about to completely destroy our freedoms. They're about to completely destroy the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the American way of life because these trauma-based mind control paranoid schizophrenics hate Muslims so much and are so scared of Muslims that they base their entire political ideology and their entire political action off of it. Do you believe in the Bill of Rights? Of course. Well, what if we violated your Bill of Rights, but we were using it to spy on Muslims? Of course. Do you like Chip Roy? No. Well, what if Chip Roy hated Muslims? I love him. He's my favorite now. When you have that much hate in your heart, and you have that much trauma-based mind control, and you have that much paranoid schizophrenia, you folks, you cannot let these people get power. But this is now, see, and it's all starting to make sense. Isn't it? I think it's all starting to make sense for a lot of people. 9/11, the Patriot Act, AIPAC, foreign policy. It's all starting to make sense now, isn't it? The picture is clearer than ever. And then if you dare observe this and report on this, as most Americans now do, you're the bad guy, you're getting blocked, you're getting attacked, you're getting blacklisted, even though it's never been more obvious. So yeah, outside of this, we're all for free speech. We're all for the right to privacy. We're all against the AI spy grid. But then as soon as it's, hey, let's use all of this to get Muslims, then it's, oh, we love it now. Yeah, we love it now. Now we love it. We're against war. Yeah, but what if the war is to kill Muslims? We want more war. We're against an AI surveillance state. But what if the AI surveillance state is to get Muslims? Give us the AI surveillance state. Is it all starting to make sense? Here you are, America, staring it down in the face, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. And by the way, this is Alex Karp of Palantir. Does this sound like the kind of guy you would want to be in control of an AI digital surveillance grid in America?
You need a higher purpose, and I also think you often need a lower purpose. Like the higher purpose for me...
What's a lower purpose?
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us. So that's my lower purpose. And, yeah, and others. But the higher purpose for me was to get this nation to be the preeminent power in the world, because whatever faults we have, they're nothing like anyone else's.
So, okay, you could say it's funny. You could say it's in jest. Maybe it is a little bit. But yet he did say he would like to use drones to spray fentanyl-laced urine on his opponents. He did say that. That's Palantir, Alex Karp. So that's what Laura Loomer likes now. That's what she's into. They'll sell out. They'll sell out in a minute, folks. They'll all sell out in a minute. And then you have this. Now that it's pretty clear they're trying to do something in Venezuela. Now, Trump actually talked about Venezuela earlier today and said he's having good talks with Maduro. He said Maduro basically offered him everything to not do an invasion. So we'll see how that goes. But Elizabeth Pipko, America first means taking action to protect our citizens from all threats, and shutting down drug pipelines that poison our streets and kill our kids should be a top priority for any leader. Every strike saves lives. So they've done at least 5 strikes that we know of. Now apparently they're trying to strike submarines, And they know it's not really that popular, so they're having to do this. Let me just make a general statement. Let me make a general observation that I want you to hear and understand. Whenever you have to start your political statement off with America first that means it's not America first. when you have to start with that preamble, like this is America, then it's obviously not America first. Because if it was America first, you wouldn't have to say that. If it was clearly America first, you wouldn't have to lead by saying this is America first. It would be inherently understood. So the minute that you have to start a statement with America first means, obviously that means it's not America first. And you're trying to deceive people that it is. So just as a general rule now, I would say, kind of approach things like that. Whenever somebody starts it off like that, like America first means or MAGA means, that means it's not MAGA, it's not America first, and they know it, and they know it's not popular, so they have to start it off with that to try to trick you into thinking it is. It's pure propaganda. Pure propaganda. And hey, look, I'm not taking some big stance against this. I don't like it. I don't want to get involved in Venezuela. I don't like bombing these boats. I really don't. But that's not going to be my big fight. But again, let's look at all things. Let's look at all things through all lenses here. What drugs kill more Americans in the United States? That's pharmaceutical drugs. That's pharmaceutical pills. And you guys never say anything about that. Never. All you guys do is propaganda. That's all you guys do. Elizabeth Pipko. That is pure propaganda. Elizabeth Pipko, former GOP national spokeswoman, Trump campaign, author, model, activist, anxious human, proud Jew, proud American. She put proud Jew ahead of proud American. Elizabeth Pipko. America first means, so it's obviously not America first. These drugs are killing people. Cool, now do big pharmaceutical drugs. Sorry, folks. I have to live up to my reputation. I have to live up to my name. And I have to call out propaganda from all sides. That's what we do here. That's what we do here, folks. I'll tell you what, let's and then on Palantir, I'm going to do, look, I think I'm a fair dealer. I obviously have biases, but you have to recognize your own biases in order to not let your biases destroy your better judgment, let's say. So Sean Ryan, who has a pretty popular show on YouTube, pretty big show, he posted this and obviously got a lot of backlash. He said, people think Palantir is this spying tool, but that's not true. And this is the guy he had on, Trey Stevens here. Palantir is not about mass surveillance. It's about stitching together information in a way that helps keep people safe. The biggest misconception is that they're watching everyone, and that's just not reality. Well, I don't know about the reality of Palantir watching everybody or not, but this is just a horrible analysis here. Now, let me first just kind of take the, hey, let's look at all the angles and let's do fair, neutral analysis here. And let me start it like this. So bear with me here. There is no doubt, and I could certainly even make the argument, and I could certainly make the defense, that there's no doubt if applied correctly, AI surveillance and whatever comes along with it could decrease crime. I think that is a fair thing to say. AI surveillance with all the other tools that it could use could decrease crime and maybe make our country more safe. I think that's fair. Whether I like AI or not, or whether I like the concept or not, I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say. It's a tool. And when the tool is applied right and used right, I think it can have success. And I do believe that that could be the case. But having said that, let's not pretend this thing exists in a vacuum here. We are talking about surveillance. We are talking about privacy rights. We are talking about a digital surveillance grid. We are talking about a technotronic state 24/7 spying on us. That's what we're talking about here. That's what it is. And he plays this word game. It's not about mass surveillance. It's about stitching together data. Well, where are they getting the data? That is mass surveillance. Just because it might not be a video camera or an audio recorder, if they're still tracking and tracing all of your data, it's still the surveillance grid. And this is already going on, by the way. This happens more and more, and I'm sure if you use your phone often, it probably happens to you. How often does it happen? You're having a conversation, whatever. You open up a web browser on your phone. You open up your social media app, and then boom, there's the thing you were talking about. Happens to me all the time now. It's freaky. Now, the more you experience it, I guess the more you get used to it, the less freaky it is. But it's still freaky. Your phone is spying on you, folks. It is. I actually get mad. You know, I'm hoping to introduce my producer here in the third hour today, and we're going to have some announcements about next week. I did the first week, I ran everything by myself to kind of work out some things. This week, he's been behind the scenes remotely in his studio. So we're probably going to introduce the producer later on, but he'll come down here every once in a while. We'll hang out, and he has his AI that he uses a lot. He utilizes a lot on his phone, and I get mad, and I'm like, don't bring that into my house. I don't want that in my house. As if it even makes a difference, like my phone isn't spying on me. But it's this little thing I do. I have like a little, there's a little sliver of tyrant in me. It's true. Don't ask around. But it happens all the time. I think the most recent one is I was talking to a buddy of mine at the gym. He's a Chicago Blackhawks fan. He used to play hockey. And we're just, talking some trash. I'm from St. Louis, whatever. And we're talking about the logos, and the Blackhawks have one of the best logos in all of sports. And I think the St. Louis Blues do too, and they just got a new logo. And I'm like, yeah, the Blues just got this new logo. I really like it. I think I'm going to go get a new hat or something. I open up my phone. Bing. Blues hat. Right on the deal. I mean, my phone is obviously spying on me. It's like, I don't, how do you even turn it off? When do you even sign on to this crap? So now they're playing these games. Well, it's not going to be video recording. It's not going to be audio recording. Yeah, it is. That's the data that they're talking about. It's like, it's not a video. It's just code, but it's the same difference. So look, you have to be able to have fair conversations, because when you can't have fair conversations, you turn people off and then you get bad results. I don't know if you can find the proper balance between the AI surveillance grid that's being built on top of us and still maintaining our constitutional rights, our freedoms, our privacies. I don't know if you can balance that. Now, I can sit here and I can say, absolutely, I'm willing to concede the fact that AI, used properly, could probably decrease crime. I'm willing to sacrifice that fact. But I'm not willing to sacrifice my freedom, my rights, and my country. I'm not willing to concede that. And so if I can't have an AI tool that decreases crime without having to sacrifice my freedoms, my privacy, or my country, then I'm not doing it. Simple as that. And I don't think that exists right now. I'm not sure if it'll ever exist, but I don't think it exists right now. I don't think so. But this is all Chinese-style surveillance and soon to be censorship and a social credit score. And that's the big issue here. This isn't a one-off. This isn't an isolated thing. This is a stepping stone. Hey, AI will make your city safer. Well, okay. And it's spying on you. Now it's surveilling you. Now you have pre-crime. Now you have censorship. Now you have a social credit score. Now you're living in a communist, socialist, dystopian hellhole. Just like that. But as long as it's to get Muslims, as long as we're getting the jihadis, I'll sacrifice America. I don't mind. I'll sacrifice my freedoms. I don't mind. As long as it's going against those Muslims, then it's good. Yeah, I'll sacrifice America as long as we can get rid of those Muslims. Well, you know what? I don't feel the same way. And even if these Muslims were as big of a threat as Laura Loomer would like you to believe, I still wouldn't be willing to do it. But I guess that's just me. Let me finish up with the geopolitical stuff here. Do you guys remember the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and then that thing just kind of went away, and everybody assumed it was the CIA, and Victoria Nuland kind of admitted it? Remember all that? Polish court blocks extradition and frees Ukrainian suspected in Nord Stream pipeline blast. A Polish court on Friday blocked the extradition to Germany of a Ukrainian man suspected of involvement in the 2022 attack on the Nord Stream gas pipelines and ordered his release, a ruling that was welcomed by Poland's prime minister. Volodymyr Zurvalov, 46 years old, was arrested near Warsaw September 30th on a German warrant. German prosecutors have described him as a trained diver and allege that he was part of a group that placed explosives on the pipelines near the Danish island of Bornholm 3 years ago. The Warsaw District Court rejected his extradition on Friday and ordered his immediate release. Now, folks, this is where it's about to get wild. The man's lawyer said ahead of the hearing that my client doesn't admit guilt. He didn't commit any crime against Germany, and he doesn't understand why these charges were made by the German side. He said he also would argue that no Ukrainian should be charged with any action directed against Russia. And the judge points to a just war. Judge Lubowski said as he announced his ruling that the attack on the pipeline should be understood as a military action in a just war and therefore not subject to criminal responsibility on the part of an individual. Folks, what the hell is going on with this? First of all, there's something happening behind the scenes here. And I'm not suspicious that Poland has anything to do with it. I think Poland is acting on its own here. I think the judicial system in Poland is acting totally on its own here. But obviously, Paprocki, that's the lawyer, excuse me. Obviously, Volodymyr Zhuravlov didn't act alone and was likely working with some international intelligence agency or community. Now, whether he actually did it or not, this was obviously an intelligence community hit against Russia. And then they say, well, it wasn't a crime against Germany, except that was the oil that was coming into Europe, coming into Germany. So it kind of was a crime against Germany. But now a judge in Poland is saying, well, you can basically commit an act of terrorism against Russia. It's okay. Folks, this is wild. This is crazy. Now, nobody's going to extradite him to Russia. If they're not going to extradite him to Germany, nobody's going to extradite him to Russia. But this is nuts. I think it's more likely this is a fall guy, but he was connected to the event in some way, shape, or form. He might have placed an explosive device. I don't know, but he was obviously working with an intel community. Now, how a court says, we accept that your act of international terrorism is okay because there's a war going on. Poland is not at war with Russia. Germany is not at war with Russia. And this is a Ukrainian man. And this is an act of terror. And they say, go free, because it's okay to do an act of terror. Which, is it even against Russia? I mean, it's a Russian pipeline that goes to Europe. It's just, this is a crazy result. And it's amazing how this doesn't get bigger attention, folks. This was an international terrorist attack. They blew up a pipeline that was in the ocean. This is a huge deal. And they swept it under the rug. And now they're saying nobody's guilty. It's okay. Volunteer soldier against Russia. That is a wild development. Wild. Some more ocean activity, let's say. Some more maritime news. Are we doing maritime news today? Here's another one of these accounts, these anonymous accounts on X that popped up about 2022, probably. I don't know when this account popped up, probably around 2022, I think. And has co-opted the online MAGA community. So apparently there's this whale, this endangered whale that was off the coast of Israel. Really a beautiful animal there. You can see it. And it meant a lot to the people there in Israel, and they named it, and it was kind of a phenomenon there. They all loved this whale, beautiful creature, and they named it. Well, it got to Gaza, and then the Gazans pulled it out of the water, and I'm guessing they want to kill it and eat it, is my guess. But I don't know. Maybe they did it because they hate Israel, and they said, we're going to take your little whale and kill it just to spite you. It could be either one. I don't know. Could be for food, could be for spite, could be for both. But okay, hold on a second. I don't like that. I don't like this poor whale getting killed. Beautiful creature, meant a lot to people, had symbolic meaning. So yeah, this is a disgusting act. This is a heathen act. But they say, why kill an innocent animal? Oh, there's no irony. There's no irony in you, according to your bio, a proud Jewish, proud Zionist with an Israeli flag in your name, Vivid. Who even knows who you really are? Again, another one of these anonymous accounts that just pops up and tries to co-opt MAGA. Here we are. Oh, there's no irony in you talking about them killing an innocent animal after Israel just killed 70,000 plus people, 20,000 of them probably women and children, totally innocent. So I guess that irony is lost on you. And then the responses continue. In Israel, they evacuated everyone out of the water just not to disturb it. All the Gazans do is destroy everything. The Gazans destroy everything? Again, this is no promotion of the Gazans or the Palestinians or any of that. No promotion of that. No promotion of Hamas. I'm out of all of it. But, excuse me, I can't ignore the irony here. Gaza killed an innocent animal. Israel killed at least 20,000 innocent women and children. Gazans destroy everything. Israel literally just destroyed the entire civilization in Gaza. They literally flattened the whole thing. Zero sense of self-awareness. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Nothing. It's crazy. Viktor Orban, Budapest is the only suitable place in Europe for a USA-Russia peace summit. With a long-standing pro-peace leadership and trusted partnerships, we provide a reliable, secure, and politically stable setting. There was no other option. Simply put, they can count on us. So Rubio is taking an envoy to meet with Lavrov in Budapest. I believe that's next week or the week after. That's this month, though. This month, that's happening. Then Trump has said that he and Putin will meet in Budapest in the near future after that original meeting with Rubio and Lavrov. So this is going down. And of course, with Zelensky at the White House today, this appears to be now Trump's new push to get this war done. And it's unfortunate that now the peace deal with Israel and the Gaza Strip it's not It's not over, it's not destroyed, but it's not looking good right now. But now Orban has joined Team Trump in trying to reach a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Now, let me get extremely opinionated on this issue and just say something I've been saying for years now that I actually originally heard when I was much younger, listening to Michael Savage. I believe he was the first one that talked about this, and it didn't mean much to me at the time when he was originally saying it years ago. It started to mean a lot more to me recently as I'm seeing these Cold War era policies, these Cold War era foreign policies and attitudes hurting America now. And then you kind of look into the truth about Putin and Russia and everything else, and you realize that the whole thing is just another military-industrial complex scam. The whole thing is just another NATO cash grab. And Ukraine is just another client state of the military-industrial complex. So the whole thing is corrupt. The United States and Russia, I hope it's not too late. I hope it's not too late. But this one really means a lot to me. I don't know why. Maybe because I think it's one of the biggest psyops against our country in my life. But I don't know why this one means so much to me. But I think it's more of a pro-America thing. The United States and Russia need to be the biggest allies in the world. That's what I believe. And I think Putin wants that. But because of these neocons that we have in our country, and because of the military-industrial complex and all the political leverage it has over our politicians, they like to keep Russia as the boogeyman. They like to stick in this Cold War era foreign policy, and it hurts America, and it hurts the world. And the reason I say I hope it's not too late, because a partnership, like this whole thing, like Israel is our greatest ally and all that stuff. I would like to be hearing that about Russia. All that stuff that we're talking about with Israel and that whole attitude and approach towards Israel as the greatest ally, I'd actually like to see that with Russia. I'd like to see Russia be our greatest ally. That's what I'd like to see. Do you really think Israel has more to offer America than Russia? I mean, come on. But, I mean, this is my opinion. I think a partnership with Russia and the United States as the greatest allies in the world, I think that would be the most powerful alliance probably in the history of the world. I don't think in modern history you'd be able to find a more powerful alliance than the United States and Russia. We would be in, I think, every time zone, just about every time zone, the majority of time zones, America and Russia, we'd have people in the majority of the time zones. We'd have the most land. Russia's number one. I think U.S. is number 3 in land. So you'd have the most land. You'd have the most resources. Russia is rich in resources. America rich in resources. They have the most resources. We actually have people that are very common. Our people are very common as far as culture is concerned. Very common. Very common. It would be the most powerful partnership in the world. We could dominate. And everybody would have to do business with us. Everybody. And the reason, and of course, this is where you get into kind of the corrupt geopolitical stuff. Of course, let's say the globalists, of course, the corporate global government agents, of course, they don't want America and Russia to be partners. They're going to do everything to try to stop that from happening because of what it represents, because of the power it represents. So they have to stop it, because otherwise it would be unstoppable. But here's why I say I hope it's not too late. American leadership and foreign policy has been so bad that we have pushed Russia into the arms of the Chinese, into the arms of the Chinese communists, which has then put them into the lap of India, and now they're making all these other partnerships. That ought to be us. That ought to be us. It's like, the head cheerleader and the starting quarterback on the varsity football team going to homecoming together. It's like, that's it. That's the story. The head of the cheerleading squad, straight A student, smart, beautiful. The head of the football team, starting quarterback, All-American, full ride to college. They're going to homecoming. They're going to prom. It's a prom king and queen. It's what everybody wants. That's the magic storybook tale. That's Russia and America. So I hope it's not too late. It could be the last chance with Trump. It could be the last chance with President Trump to fix this and make a strong, or at least get moving towards having a strong relationship, a partnership, an allyship with Russia. It would be the greatest thing for world freedom. It would be the greatest thing. It would be the best partnership and ally America has had in modern history in the 21st century. It's a no-brainer. But the same powers that be, the same deep state powers, the same globalist powers, the same military-industrial complex powers, they don't want that partnership because of what it represents as a threat to them. So they love keeping Russia as the boogeyman. They love keeping America caught up in this Cold War era foreign policy that just doesn't exist or have any use anymore. Even NATO needs to be disbanded, needs to be shut down. The whole world would heal from that. But doesn't it seem that most world leaders don't want the world to heal? Most world leaders now aren't interested in peace. They're not interested in the world becoming a better place. It's like they want it to collapse. They want it to get worse so that they can come in and rescue you and put you in a cage. By the way, apparently, I don't know. This is probably ridiculous. Moscow envoy Kryly Dmitriev proposed a Putin-Trump rail under the Bering Strait to link Russia and the United States. What do you guys think? Do you want to, it'd be probably fun to go on that ride, but I don't really think it's necessary. I don't really see a real purpose there. Maybe a symbolic thing. Once we finally do what needs to be done and make Russia our greatest ally, maybe a symbolic thing. But I don't know if that's a real useful thing to do. Probably not cheap either. What in the hell is going on in London? Students shall not pass unless they accept the Lord of the Rings is offensive. Students shall not pass unless they accept Lord of the Rings is offensive. University course suggests Tolkien's treatment of evil characters follows a tradition of anti-African antipathy. Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of the Lord of the Rings movies. I was as a kid. I was a big fan when I was a kid and a big fan of the books when I was a kid, but I haven't probably watched them or read them in 20 years since they came out. As many times as I watched The Lord of the Rings or as many times as I read The Lord of the Rings, I can say with complete confidence, not one time did I think about Africa. Not once. So I don't know where you're getting this stuff from, but it's certainly not the people that watch the movies or read the books. Okay? So I'm not sure where all of this is coming from, but it's pretty stupid is what it is. It's just stupid. All right. I said I was going to do this, so I will do this. I think I can probably do it in about 10 minutes. So I'd like to be able to do this before the end of the second hour here. And then take phone calls. But I said that I would tell you the story with the new X algorithm. And people are complaining about it, but I think I can tell you how to get the most out of it. I actually think it's better than ever now, but the problem is it's so interactive that if you're not aware of it, then it probably will be a much worse experience for you. So I will explain that in a second. I will explain that coming up in a second. Allow me, though. Allow me. I can't tell you how excited I am about this. And you ask anybody that comes to my house now. I have been filtering my water for about 15 years. I'd say I started really becoming a water snob at about 20, 21 years old. Became a real water snob. And I've had a bunch of different water filters. I've drank all the different spring waters and sparkling waters and filtered waters and everything. And normally for me, I've had a gravity-fed water filter in my house because it doesn't need electricity. It filters most of the stuff out, the different filters that they have. So I've just always had a gravity filter. Now that I have the Cove Pure water filter in my house, I feel like I've stepped into the future. I feel like I've been a caveman since I've become a water snob. And I have guests that come over, and I'm like ranting and raving about this water. I'm like, you got to try. And they're kind of rolling their eyes like, all right, yeah, whatever. I give them a glass. I ask, what temperature? I say, what temperature do you like your water? You know what? I like it ice cold. I say, wonderful. Let me get you a glass of ice cold water from my Cove Pure water filter. They're kind of rolling their eyes like, all right, okay. And then I give them the ice cold glass of water, fresh from my Cove Pure water filter, and their eyes light up. And they look at me and they say, wow, I thought you were exaggerating. This is actually the best water I've ever tasted. I feel like my whole kitchen has stepped into the future. I thought I was a water snob before. I was missing out. It's not even close. Folks, I've tried a lot of different water filters, and I've even in the past kind of been turned off from the electric water filters because it needs electricity and there's a bit of a process. This thing, it runs so smoothly. It's so easy to use. It's so customizable. You can get piping hot water. You can get warm water. You can get room temperature water. You can get cool water. You can get freezing cold water. Whatever you want, right there, one push of the button. Well, actually, there might be 2 or 3 buttons. You get to push what temperature you want, how much comes out, and then push the button to dispense it. Yes, that's right. I say, how much water would you like? I'd like 6 ounces of ice cold water. I say, I got you right here. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm missing out on this. So easy to use. As you can see on the screen here, it comes with a little pitcher too. It fills itself. What? The pitcher fills itself. I don't even know what goes on with this thing. It's like it's like an alien machine. It's like I have an alien spacecraft in my kitchen that gives me the best water I've ever tasted. You fill in the back, it has the tank. You fill the tank and it keeps it cool, or it can keep it hot, whatever you want. It automatically fills the pitcher. So if you want to pour it out of the pitcher, or you were taking water to go or something, you take the pitcher out, you pour it into the pitcher, you put the pitcher back on the stand, and it refills it automatically for you. You don't even have to fill it. It fills it for you. Trust me, you will not regret this. And a lot of people see water filters, and it's like, well, I don't know if I want to spend money on a water filter. By the time a year goes by and you've bought how many bottles of water, you're actually saving money. You're actually saving money. But right now, this is on sale. The Cove Pure CP16 for $449. And let me just say one other thing. Not only do you want one of these in your kitchen, not only will this be the best water filter you've ever had, the best water you've ever tasted, this would be such a great gift. You gift this, you gift the Cove Pure CP16 to a friend, you have got a friend forever. They're going to love you forever. They're going to invite you first row at the ball game. They're going to invite you stage side at the concert. You're going to be in. Telling you, covepure.com/Owen. Covepure.com/Owen. Let them know we sent you. Let them know you're going to support them as they support this show. But I'm telling you, folks, the Cove Pure CP16 countertop reverse osmosis water purifier. And to the real water snobs, they hear that and they say, well, reverse osmosis, that takes all the good stuff out. No, it realkalizes the water. It realkalizes it for you. It gets the pH up for you. Best water filter in the world, Cove Pure CP16, on sale, limited time right now. Go to covepure.com/Owen. Covepure.com/Owen. Thank you guys for the water filter. I love it. I'm going to give it as a gift. I'm going to make a lot of friends that way. I got friends that come over, and they kind of like me a little bit. And they're like, and he's an all right guy, I guess. Yeah, he's all right. And then I bring them a cup of ice cold water from my water filter. Owen is my best friend in the world. I'd do anything for that guy. With one simple cup of filtered water. Covepure.com/Owen. All right. So I'm teasing this AI stuff. I think I can do this in 10 minutes. But let me kind of set the stage here. Let me set the stage for you here. And I probably should go find the Musk tweet. Maybe I will. It wouldn't be too consequential not to show it, but maybe I'll try to find it. So here's some of the commentary that I'm seeing on X with the new algorithm, which Musk did say. He did say this the other day and kind of what's going on with it. X is introducing a new algorithm where its AI Grok will decide whether your content is good or bad for visibility, making the number of followers you have largely irrelevant. Now that you could say is maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing. I don't know. You could have an opinion on that. Here's some of the complaints I'm seeing. Half my feed is people I can't stand and don't follow, dogpiling on Matt Walsh. The algorithm is crap. That's Cassandra McDonald. Savannah Hernandez says, the algo has been horrific lately on all fronts. The last 2 weeks has been really bad. So you see some of the complaints here. Harrison Smith. So they're replacing people's free will and personal preference with AI dictated popularity. I've already noticed a massive uptick in unpopular leftists and Zionists in my feed. So I understand the frustration, especially because the whole algorithm thing has been a mystery for years. And then the payout element kind of made it more personal. And it seems like it's kind of always changing and morphing, and people can't figure out what's going on. Let me see if I can get the actual Elon Musk. Let me see if I can actually get the Elon Musk statement here. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to do this. I don't know if this is the most recent one. Yeah, that's not the most recent one, but oh, okay. I believe this is it. He says, all right, this is what Musk said. The X recommendation system is evolving very rapidly. We are aiming for deletion of heuristics within 4 to 6 weeks. Grok will literally read every post and watch every video, 100 million plus per day, to match users with the content they're most likely to find interesting. This should address the new user or small account problem where you post something great but nobody sees it. We will also be adding the ability for you to adjust your feed temporarily or permanently just by asking Grok. Now, out of the gates, first of all, you say, okay, AI is not a perfect thing for anything, but certainly when it comes to content and content moderation and stuff, obviously there's been a lot of problems with AI. You like Grok, you don't, whatever, your favorite AI. I think we can all agree with that. Now, here's why I would tell you not to be so critical of the new algorithm. The problem with the new algorithm is that it's the most interactive that X has ever had, meaning you are actually now in more control over your X experience than you've ever been before. Now, if you're not aware of that, then it can get bad. But so you have to be very aware that everything you do on X determines what you're going to see, what's going to get into your feed. Everything. So I would suggest, here's what I would suggest if you want to get the most out of X as a creator or a consumer, because I'm both. First, you have to decide, do you want to have total control over your feed, or do you want the algorithm to have control over your feed? And this is very easy. This is actually the easiest thing, because you can go to the For You and the algorithm will be in control of what you see, or you can go to the Following tab and you'll be in full control of what you see. So if you want to have full control, then it'll only show you the people that you're following, and that'll be it. And you'll have total control over that. But if you go to the For You, then it's going to be the AI algorithm. Now, here's what you have to do to get what you want out of it. Every second that you spend on X, it is reading and responding. And I would even go as far as to say it's reading your facial expressions. Are you laughing? Are you smiling? Are you frowning? Are you furrowing your brow? Literally, I think it's reading everything. I think that's where we're at. I could be wrong, but I think that's where you're at. So, and this is like, it's like crazy that you have to think this, but if you want to get the most out of X. So if you're watching something and you like it, smile. If you're watching something and you hate it, frown. And it won't show you it again. It's counting the seconds you spend on posts. So if you see something and you know you don't like it, but you click it anyway, or you stop on your feed anyway to look at it, then the algorithm realizes that it's going to feed you more. It can't read your mind yet. It can only respond to what it is you're doing. So if there's something you don't want to see, you don't want on your feed, then skip past it and don't click it and don't look at it. And if there's stuff that you do want to see and you want to see more of, then stop and read it, click on it. Now, the most control you have is with replies and likes and reposts and things that you type and say. That's kind of the surface stuff that I think everybody understands. But it's way more penetrative than that now. I think it's literally responding to your facial expressions. It's responding to how much time you spend on a post, how much time you'll spend scrolling when certain things are in the feed and certain things aren't in the feed. So now when you're using X, you have to understand the whole thing is interactive, which if you're not aware of it, or even if you are, you might say, well, it sucks. I don't like it. But then you just do the For You thing, or then you just do the following thing, and you can just have total control over what you want to see. But if you want to get the most out of X, you have to realize it is now a fully interactive experience. Everything you click, it's registering with the algorithm. Everything you look at, it's registering with the algorithm. The facial expressions that you make are registering with the algorithm. So yes, it does require you, if you want to get the most out of X, it does require you to be actively consuming and creating. You have to think about this while it's ongoing. But if you do, I think you're going to get the most out of X. If you do, I think that you're going to get what you want out of it. That's been my experience. This has been how I've been treating it, and I see everybody that's kind of complaining about it. I actually think it's working great for me personally. I like the new algorithm. I seem to be in the minority, but I think because I've been practicing these things for like a month now. So if you don't want to see leftist crap, then don't look at it. If it pops up on your feed, scroll right past it. Don't click it, or even make a mean face like, and it won't show it to you. So you have to be aware of this while you're using it, or you're not going to get what you want out of X. Now, again, I'm not saying it's a perfect thing. I've had my issues with it in the past. I used to really cover this stuff about a year ago, and then I just kind of said, all right, I've said my piece. So that's why I'm kind of coming on now, because I'm seeing a lot of people talking about it. I don't think it's bad. It might be annoying. It might not be what you want, but it actually, I think, now offers the most dynamic and user customized experience on the internet. But if you're not aware that it's constantly reading and reacting to you, then you're not going to be able to manipulate the algorithm the way that you want. But if you are aware of that, then you can manipulate the algorithm to give you what you want. So that's my take. That's been my experience. That's what I'm reading into what Musk and others are saying about it. So that's just, let's say, a little advice, perhaps. That's just a little advice if you want to get more out of it. If you're not happy with the new algorithm, I think that is the best way. Now, as far as shadow banning and some of the other stuff that doesn't make any sense, I can't say. I don't know about that. I don't know what goes into the payment systems or the shadow banning. I don't know about that. I don't know about issues. Everybody has issues. So to me, that's a separate thing. But as far as the algorithm and the feed is concerned, I actually do think now is the best time to get the most out of X, but you have to know how to use it, and that's the problem. So if you're aware of it, then you'll get the most out of it. If you're not, then I think you're going to be frustrated, as a lot of people seem to be.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Extra dimensional and multi-universal. Here's your host, Owen Schroyer.
You know, Muse has one of those sounds that you just know it immediately, you know? There's some bands like that. It's like as soon as you hear it, you know who it is. Muse is one of them. This is Muse, by the way, in case you didn't pick up on that. How we doing, guys? How we doing on a Friday? Are you doing good out there? I hope so. We've been pretty nicey today, don't you think? Been very friendly. A near perfect family-friendly show. We did curse earlier, so okay. Near perfect family-friendly show today. Very nicey today. Speaking of nicey, I got back last night. I don't know where they live streamed it. There were cameras everywhere. I don't know. Maybe they didn't live stream it. Maybe it was just recorded. I was at a TPUSA event. I was a special guest of Alex Stein's last night at UT Austin. And we had a great time, about a 2-hour event there. Met a lot of great people. Good times. And after I'm, schmoozing with Alex and everybody else, and I get home, and I just, I pop on my TV, and it's Thursday night football, and there's 3 seconds left when I finally turn the TV. There's 3 seconds left. Aaron Rodgers is heaving a ball, Hail Mary into the end zone, and the Bengals win. So Joe Flacco, I think he's like 42, beat Aaron Rodgers, who's 40. These old men in their 40s starting in NFL football games. Flacco brings the Bengals to victory. You can't even believe how this guy's doing it. It's almost like Hall of Fame worthy now for Flacco. And then Max Scherzer, product of St. Louis, Missouri. Max Scherzer, 40 years old, pitches a winner for the Toronto Blue Jays. So, for guys like me getting into their upper 30s, it's not over for us yet. All right, look around. We got Aaron Rodgers kicking ass. We got Joe Flacco kicking ass. We got Max Scherzer kicking ass. So if you're in your upper 30s and you're starting to think about the 40s and you're not so sure, hey, we still got a little bit left in us. Or as it was once said, I'm not as good as I once was, but once I'm as good as I ever was. You know that one? All right, third hour here of the Owen Report. I do have some other news I want to get to here. Let me do this one on the AI situation as I open the phone lines here. Let me make sure I've got all the AI stuff I want. Yeah, I think so. I think we're good there. Wait, let me check my video list too. Is there anything I want from the video list? Trump on Maduro. I covered that. I didn't play the clip, but we covered it. Oh, I don't even know if I want to play this pasture because it's just so insane and I'm feeling nicey. And if I play this lying traitorous pasture, I'll probably not be so nicey. So you know what? We'll just put that down for the time being. So there's this trend on X. Let me put out the phone number here. Phone lines are open. 747-255-60, 747-255-60. Number is on the bottom of the screen. line to line, you pick up, I ask you your name, where you're from, you're on the air. You're on the air. So if you see this thing, my freshwater supply should not be used to generate AI erotica. My freshwater supply should not be used to generate AI erotica. So here's what's happening. First of all, these AI data centers and processors and everything, they require massive amounts of energy, and they require massive amounts of water. Now, Trump is trying to kind of like do like a slingshot effect with this and say, hey, if you're going to build these AI processing centers, then you're going to have your own energy source, and then we're going to kick out whatever extra energy into the power grid, which has happened before. I think Google has one. So there are a couple, there is already a standard for that, but they're trying to take it to the next level. But the problem is they consume this water, massive water consumption. So I think it was OpenAI comes out, Sam Altman comes out and talks about, and this is it's like Grok. It's a weird thing that Musk is doing. And they put these like girls, I don't even know what you call, there's like these AI girlfriends or something. And Musk is constantly posting this stuff. But it's like these AI generated girlfriends that, they're like, busty and, they dance and bounce around. It's like, oh, this is your girlfriend now. So, but then they come out and they're saying, well, we're going to basically bring in porn is what we're going to do. We're going to bring in and we're going to normalize AI pornography is what we're going to do. And to me, it's like, can we not? Can we not? Isn't there enough of that out there already? There's no shortage of pornography, okay? Half the time, I can't even open up a news website without seeing, Kim Kardashian half naked, Jennifer Lopez ass. I'm not complaining about that one. But it's like, I can't even open a news website without some half naked bimbo with her breasts out. But everybody knows that there's all these pornography sites. They're all over the place. It's like, don't we have enough? So I'm not even taking a stance on the industry. I'm saying, can we not do that with AI? Can we actually make a law? I think I would support a law. I think I would support a law to ban AI pornography. I think I would. Do we really need to be draining our energy grid? Do we really need to be draining our water supply so that somebody can go on the internet and watch AI porn and masturbate all day? Can we not? Can we just draw the line somewhere with this crap, please? Okay? There's plenty of places for you to go if you want to watch adult entertainment. There's plenty of places for you to go if you want to watch that stuff. There's no shortage. It's everywhere. So can we not use our energy grid and our water supply to add more of that? Because you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. It's going to become one of the most utilized things on these platforms, and people are going to use it to make whatever it is that they're into in these videos. And then they're going to spend a bunch of time, a bunch of energy, a bunch of resources into a AI generated porn video. So no, I am totally against that. And I've had the debates and the discussions about should porn be illegal and all that stuff. And I'm kind of neutral. It's like, if you do it, I'm not going to complain, but I'm also not going to, it's not my issue. I think this is where people like me take a stand. Adult film industry, that, like, okay, you know what? I not my issue. Probably not good. If you banned it, I don't know if I would complain. It's like, I'm not going to take a big stand on it. Just don't. Just don't. Just say no, as they used to say. Just say no to drugs. And if there aren't already, I know there are some studies, it'll get worse, but it's so bad for your mind. It's so bad for your brain and your brain chemistry. It's awful. It's worse than some drugs. It basically has the same effect as the most hardcore drugs out there, is what the studies are all showing. Let's just stop. Can we stop? And really, this is something right up Trump's alley. because he's the one that signed the bill. He's the one that did the executive order about some of this stuff, where you had these deep fakes where they take celebrities' likeness and turn it in, make them naked and stuff. So this is really kind of right. I think this is something that Trump should become aware of and do, because that's where this is going to go. Ultimately, it's going to go there, but it'll be much worse. It'll be much worse than that. So I think this needs to be stopped. This has to be stopped right now. So whatever, the adult film industry, all the people in it, it's not good. It's totally degenerate. It's bad for your brain, all that stuff. It's bad for culture. Am I going to push to have it banned? Not my issue. This we need to stop. This we need to stop. I think there needs to be a law. I don't know how you enforce it. That's what's, because it's like, I hate making laws, and I don't even know how you enforce this crap, but we cannot let our energy and our resources be drained because a bunch of horny young men want to spend all day making AI exotic entertainment. We can't do it. This has to be stopped. It has to be stopped. We should not let this dominate our energy grid and our fresh water supply. Has to be stopped. This is unacceptable. If you want to watch that stuff and two people want to do it and whatever, fine. But now that it's going to cause energy prices to skyrocket and it's going to cause resources to be scarce, we got to stop it. We got to stop it. We do not want to open this Pandora's box. We do not want to open this Pandora's box. So when you see that trending, I don't want my fresh water supply to be used to generate AI erotica. That's what they're talking about, folks. And I think that that's a good cause. And I think somebody should bring it up to Trump and explain, hey, look, this isn't about taking some stand against the industry. This is realizing that if we don't stop this now, it's going to drain our energy grid and our water resources. We have to stop it now, because that's what's going to happen. And that's just bad policy. That's just bad for the country. All right. Phone lines time. We're live. First caller of the day. What's your name? Where are you from? Hold on a second, Jay. Actually, you know what? Wait, hold on a second for me, Jay. I want to see something. I want to make sure, because the audio today, I think, has been totally flawless. I think I've kind of tested out all the bugs and all the kinks, but the one thing that I'm still working on is the phone line. So I want to see something here. So thank you for being my test patient, Jay, in Pennsylvania. Oh, they can. Oh, this is beautiful. I think I figured it all out. I think I've figured out. Oh, I'm about to find out. Jay, what did you call about today?
In England with all that, but it's clearly they spy on the American citizens when this stuff takes over. So yeah, and the politicians that are funded by Israel seem to, I'd like to see her wallet, and her bank statement to see what kind of money she's getting right now.
Who are you talking about?
Laura Loomer.
I don't know. I don't think Laura. I don't know. I don't think Laura is taking any foreign money or anything like that. She has said she's taken like big Zionist donor money before. She says she's not anymore. I would believe her with that, because here's the thing. I don't want to fall into this trap, because it is a trap. I don't want to fall into this trap where both sides are pointing fingers with stuff that doesn't exist. So it's like all the people they'll accuse me of being Qatar or an Islam agent and all this stuff, and it's like, well, okay, I know that's not true. So it's like, I don't want to become that person and just point the finger. But yes, we do know that Netanyahu has a digital influence team. He's bragged about it. He's brought them all in. We do know that the IDF has digital propaganda warriors, essentially. So we do know that stuff exists. I do know for a fact that there are digital influence campaigns. This is outside of geopolitical stuff. They'll just pay you for posts, pay you for messaging. So I don't think that about Laura necessarily. I think she just tells you what she feels and what she thinks. But it's impossible. I think the disconnect is it's like for somebody like us, we can't even believe that somebody would think and say these things organically. So we just assume they're paid to say these things because they're so outrageous.
I agree. Yeah. And also, I mean, I always liked Laura. She was always on the shows and stuff. And, but it just seems like she went a little bit off there. And, you got if you're going to make a rule against Muslims running, I don't agree with them at all. Like, I'm a Christian. But are you going to make a rule against? You should make a rule against anybody taking any foreign money, then they can't run for office. Because what's the difference between your religion and who's paying you? I think it's worse to who's paying you to influence you and the lobbyists that are coming in the NGOs than it is for somebody to have a different religion than you. Honestly.
Yeah, I was having this conversation last night. It actually got brought up at the TPUSA event, and I know that they're going to be sharing some clips from that soon. But it was brought up last night. I'm against dual citizenship, and actually I had a friend of mine who's a dual citizen in Mexico, and I didn't even know that. But she was at the event. She asked me, and she was like, well, I'm a dual citizen because I guess when you have family in Mexico, you kind of get grandfathered in. You can be a Mexican citizen if you have family. And you have to be able to not take things personally either, right? And so she was just like, well, I'm a dual citizen. What do you think? And I was like, well, I think you shouldn't be. I think you should have to renounce your Mexican citizenship. I just believe that. And it's not even, and I'm explaining, I'm like, it's not even about you per se. It's not even that you being a dual citizen is such a big deal. It's that because it's become such a big issue politically, and because we have dual loyalty that now bleeds into foreign policy, that's why it has to be done. So, yeah, I do believe that if you want to be an American citizen, you should renounce your other citizenship. And it sounds a little cold, but I just think it's the best thing for the country right now. And, as far as the foreign money is concerned, I think it would take a big hit, if you got rid of the foreign influence via dual citizenship. People are going to have to make a choice. Do you want to be an American citizen or not? That's it. Do you want to be an American citizen or not? And if you're coming from a different country or you have a dual citizenship, we're going to ask, do you want to be an American citizen? Yes. Okay. Then you have to renounce your citizenship of this other country. I think that's it. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, I agree 100%. It's funny. I see these yard signs of these people around my house, and they'll say America first. And then they'd say, we stand with Israel. And it's like, well, what do you do? What are you? Are you, that's kind of a mixed message.
A lot of that.
I guess you can stand with Israel, but they're very pro-Israel. And it's like, well, if you're standing with Israel, I understand a little bit, but I'm not trying to send my money over there. You can be with the people or whatever, but I don't know. A lot of these people are just so wrapped up in Israel. But they try to say they're America first. Well, we need to help them. It's like, no, we don't.
Yeah,
we don't. They're destroying the freaking country over there. They leveled the freaking, like all those people walking home. They showed on Fox News. They're all going back to Gaza. It's like, what Gaza? Like, what are they going back to?
They're literally going back to rubble. They're literally living in basically whatever is left of the rubble.
Yeah, in squalor, basically. Yeah. So they got to rebuild. But I appreciate the time, and I'm the Steelers fan, and that was a tough one. I'm glad I fell asleep. I had a long week at work, and I fell asleep for that one. I woke up at 12 o'clock. I was sitting on the couch. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I didn't watch that all night.
Well, imagine, the Bengals have felt a lot more pain than the Steelers, especially recently. And I saw that it was a 5.5 spread, and I was like, you know what? 5.5 in Cincinnati with Flacco, I actually like the Bengals. I didn't think they would win. I thought that they would cover, and then they won. It was just like, oh, my gosh.
It's a problem with Tomlin sometimes, Thursday night football, he's like 2-10.
Well, Thursday night football, it sucks. It's a horrible
0-7
product.
In the division.
It's a horrible product. Thursday night football shouldn't even exist, but whatever. I'm not the NFL commissioner. I'm not the Players Association, so what do I care?
I agree, brother. Well, you have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. Oh, there was something he said. There was something he said, and I forgot. I had a response to it, and he got me distracted with the sports ball. Got me distracted. Flacco, is Joe Flacco Hall of Fame material? Because it would seem like no. It would seem like no. But, man, if he starts pulling off these victories, and the AFC North it's in play, start to wonder. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Theo Crow from Midvale, Utah.
All right, what's on your mind?
I'm just wondering when the Republicans are going to start talking about getting rid of things like Social Security.
Hey, hold on a second. I'm getting some weird audio. Are you on like a Bluetooth or a speakerphone or something?
No, I got a garbage cell phone from the New World Order.
Yeah, that it sounds horrible, but we'll bear with you. Go ahead and make your statement.
All right, I'm just wondering, so when are we going to get rid of things like Social Security in this country and the income tax? And how come we don't talk about that more in the GOP? We're talking about Israel and Gaza, but we never talk about getting rid of taxes. We never talk about getting rid of public education, which is not a constitutional right.
Yeah.
Why don't we privatize all these things,
Yeah, well, I agree with you directionally here. It feels like we're so far gone from that, though. I don't know. Now that's considered extremism. And the Republican Party is hardly even conservative anymore anyway. So there really is, there's virtually no conservative movement left. And so then you have to say, okay, what are we conserving and where? But as far as conservative principles or conservative individuals in government, very few. And the ones that are, they get attacked the most by the Republican Party. Like a Thomas Massey, like a Rand Paul. They get attacked the most now from the GOP establishment. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, Social Security, it shouldn't even exist. But it's going to collapse under its own weight if you don't do something about the current budget where we run into deficit. But these things don't seem to matter. The government gets to play with monopoly money. You don't. You're losing your wealth. Your value, your dollar is losing its value. But the government, they can just exist in debt and print money like it doesn't mean anything, which I guess it doesn't. But you don't benefit from that. But when are conservatives going to start acting conservatively again? As far as the Republican Party is concerned, probably never. The only thing you can hope is that they'll start to enact policy that allows you to live conservatively. Things like homeschooling. Things like cutting taxes so you don't have to pay for all of these things. So that's really your best bet. I don't think you're not going to get much conservative action from the Republican Party. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Can you point to anything recently? Doge would have been big. Yeah. How long did that last? It's like Doge was the most conservative thing that we had gotten in Republican Party politics in decades. And how long did it last? 2 months? And now it's just like, it never really happened. Didn't really even exist ever. By the way, in Texas, Apple and Google reluctantly comply with Texas age verification law. I don't like this, folks. I don't like it. And I get the purpose. But it's one of those things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The internet's fine. People liked the internet as it was. We don't need this age verification crap. We don't want it. And they say it's, to stop you from accessing adult entertainment for kids. It's just stop it. Apple yesterday announced a plan to comply with a Texas age verification law and warned that changes required by the law will reduce privacy for users. And this law, SB 2420, begins January 1st, 2026. Introduces age assurance requirements for app marketplaces and developers. Now, you already have this in Texas for adult websites. They signed some law. I think it's like 18 states. There's states where they already have these laws, but it's only if you're trying to access adult content. And it seems like that's going fine. So why do we need to expand it, though? This is all bringing in the digital ID. This is all bringing in the social credit score. It's bad. It's bad policy. It's a bad bill. And the state of Texas is run by Democrats. Do not confuse yourself, folks. Our governor is a Republican, but he's not a conservative. We have mostly Republicans in the House and the state legislature. They're Democrats. They're liberals. Texas is run by Democrats, folks. Don't be confused just because Texas is a red state. It's run by Democrats. Make no mistake about it. And they're bringing in the social credit score. Bad news for Texas. There's a chance we can stop it, I suppose. But that's where it's at now. By the way, the feds did charge a couple Antifa members. They got another guy now. And this is fresh from the Department of Justice. A Portland area man has been federally charged for allegedly using a laser to try to blind a pilot flying a Customs and Border Protection helicopter. And there's videos of this. I think Nick Sorter caught a video of this. And they got him. Third person in the Portland area federally charged for using a laser to try to crash a federal aircraft. These people are nuts. You are nuts. So, enjoy your prison sentence. Now, this is a pretty wild graph that we have here. FHA loans locks to immigrants without permanent residency, including H-1B visa holders. Now, so these are all the FHA loans. You can see it here. And they keep going up and up and up. So once Biden got in, skyrockets, right? Once Biden gets in, the FHA loans skyrocket. And that's because they had these different incentives and programs for the developers, for the real estate agents, and they wanted to put these illegal aliens in homes. So they had all these different projects and incentives to get illegal aliens and refugees and asylum seekers into these homes. It's kind of like what you saw in, what was that small Ohio town that got really big news headlines because of all the Haitians that were moving in, and they found out that it was all these different subsidies. They were bringing them into these apartments. It was all federal subsidies, and the apartment owners were making out like bandits. It was a whole thing. Well, they were doing the same thing with these FHA loans. So there's now these unintended consequences because the different aid that a lot of these benefactors of the FHA loan were receiving, a lot of their aid is gone. A lot of them can't even stay in the country anymore. And yet the housing market made a huge investment assuming that all of this stuff was going to last. But as you can see, it hasn't. And so FHA loans are way down here. And now nobody wants an FHA loan because if you're an American and you try to get an FHA loan, you're paying 7%. So nobody wants them. So then there's now this. These are new homes, new builds that are unoccupied. And they're nearing, well, they were at an all-time high. So they're right near an all-time high right now. So why is that? Now, I happen to just go through this myself, so I can even tell you what's going on here. So the Biden administration made all these policies so that they could get illegal aliens into houses as soon as possible. And they had all kinds of incentives. They had incentives for the builders. They had incentives for the real estate agents, all of it. And I actually covered it with some real estate agents at the time. But now that people are getting deported or leaving or losing their benefits, whatever, and they can't get an FHA, the FHA loan isn't applied anymore. Now, all of a sudden, the housing market that thought all these new people are coming into the housing market here, we got to build as much houses as we can. Now nobody's buying the houses. Nobody can afford the houses. Nobody can afford the loans. Nobody wants an FHA loan. Here's what's crazier. And I believe I've explained this before, but it just so happens I just went through this because I was hoping to move. And once I tested the market, I realized that it's like literally impossible to move. And I won't get into all the different factors. But so what I discovered was, yes, there's all these new builds, but you can't even get access to them unless you're willing to pay, a massive interest rate, which they would give a cut. You wouldn't have to pay it. They had different incentives if you were an illegal alien, not for an American. So it's insane. I was irate. It is so hard for an American to buy a house, not just because of the current state of the economy. They do nothing. They do nothing to help Americans buy a house. Nothing. The loans, the mortgage companies, the loan companies, they do nothing. I mean, your real estate agent might try to help you, but at the end of the day, you can either make the deal or you can't. Americans are discriminated against in the housing market. I went through it myself, folks. I experienced it myself. And then they say, well, the only loan you can get is the FHA loan with 7% interest rate. Now, this is another phenomenon because now I'm technically self-employed, so they discriminate against you if you're self-employed. But it's like it doesn't even matter. You could have the down payment. The housing market is so bad, guys. It is so bad. And that's why it's so frustrating when Trump comes out and starts talking about the great economy and everything. And it's just like, dude, it's bad out there. It's bad. Here's good news, though. Florida abortions drop by 1/3 as heartbeat bill saves lives. That's great news. That's America healing, not killing the babies anymore. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. That's been going on across the nation, too, by the way. It's not just Florida. Popular Democrat homeless activist in Charlotte, North Carolina, has been raided by the FBI for allegedly running a $14.5 million health care fraud scheme by taking advantage of the homeless and submitting false claims to Medicaid. And this is another reason why government assistance and welfare needs to not exist, because it's some of the most abused programs, ripe with fraud, waste, and abuse. And we used to want to tackle these things with a little thing called Doge, but I guess that's no more. All right, let's take a phone call here. What's your name? Where are you from? Thank you. Thank you for the call. Great work. 747-200-5560 if you want to get on before the weekend starts. If you want to get on before your weekend begins. Here's an example, and I wish people were better with this. And that's being able to disagree on an issue or a subject or other, but still respect somebody and say, hey, just because I disagree on one thing doesn't mean I disagree with everything. And one example is a guy named Maj Toure. And there's a lot of things I agree with him on. There's a lot of things I disagree with him on. But he says this: want better results? You need better habits. Absolutely. Great advice. Want better results? You need better habits. Simply put, nothing to add. Nothing to add to that. Well said, well stated. But it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I have disagreements with Maj Touré. He probably doesn't like everything I say and do, but so what? I'm not in a cult. I like people that I can disagree with. I like people I can debate with. And guess what? Even if you think somebody is wrong half the time, they might be right the other half. They might have something good to offer you. Just because you don't agree with one thing, they might have other great things to offer you. Just try to keep it in mind. I try to practice that. All right, next caller. What's your name? Where you from?
Kevin Price, Indiana.
All right, Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, man, can you do me a favor? How do we support you directly, not just buying coffee or jumping online and doing whatever you recommend? Can you give us a direct link to just, dude, you are you're my hero.
Oh, well, I thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, so let me, do you mind if I give you a little bit of an expansive answer there? I'm gonna answer the question, but I want to explain my mindset and why I'm here. So, if you go to my X account, are you on X?
Very little.
Okay, but you do have an account?
Yeah, I'd have to look it up, but I've got one.
Okay, well, you can go to, I forget the name of the URL, but givesendgo.com/help Owen Schroyer. I think it's helpowen.com is the quick link. I think it's help Owen. Anyway, so this was a fundraiser I started, and it was overwhelming, the support that came in. And so part of me is like, I don't want to sit here and do a fundraiser all the time because you guys came through. You helped me raise the funds to build this new studio and expand it and do all the things I want to do here. You know, so I'm thankful. I want to shut it down. But then another part of me is I know people do want to direct donate. And when it's a donation like this, a gift, it's not a taxable thing. So I'm like 50-50. I do have the thing. It's still pinned on my X account. If you go to my X account, it's still pinned at the top of it when you go to my page. Or you can go to givesendgo.com/help Owen Schroyer. So if you want to do a direct donation, that's the way to do it. And that is that 100% goes to me, 100% goes to my work, 100% goes to building the studio, everything else. So that's how you can do a direct donation. But if you go to owenschroyer.store, all the different resources, and we need to update it actually with our sponsors, so I'm going to update that probably soon. But if you go to owenschroyer.store, you'll see that's my store. We're going to have proprietary stuff there. Right now, it's just some apparel. We're going to add some more stuff there. But the links to support me financially are also at owenschroyer.store. So that might be a better way to go about it, is owenschroyer.store. We do hope that you will support our sponsors. If you hear a product here that sponsors the show that you like, that you already use, we do hope you'll switch and go with our guys because they make the show run. But if you do want to do a direct donation, owenschroyer.store is going to have links at the top of the page for you to do that.
I know we just, with the world being so much fraud these days, I don't want to send, just someone that's faking you out. So,
well, I appreciate that. And, it's, I think right now we're now in, this is as organic as it gets now. This is as grassroots as it gets now. I'm as real as it gets now. And so if you want to support this work, you want to help me expand what I'm doing here, it will be greatly appreciated, and we will never let you down. I promise you.
And I tell you what, bud, we're praying for you too out here. Loved you on the Alex Network. That's where I come to know you. But brave, bold, smart, engaged. You're correct. You seek the truth. Just keep it up. We're supporting you. We're praying for you. We'll do what we can. Just take care of yourself, okay?
You got it. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. I do take care of myself. I do. Sometimes my dear mother worries about that. Am I getting enough sleep? Am I getting enough rest? Am I working too much? Am I eating enough? I'm taking good care of myself. I promise. At least I'm trying to. Nothing is perfect. I did have to order pizza in last night. I'm not proud of it, but I did it. Next caller, what's your name? Where you from?
I hope it was good pizza, Owen. What's going on?
It wasn't. It was good enough. It was good enough. It was no original. It was no one of a kind original New York pizza. It was no Lou Malnati's Chicago style pizza.
Well, good news is if we get Mom Dami over here, we'll have electronically made pizza for you. All right?
Yeah,
We won't have
I'll
any
go
more
get her.
big
I'll go get
ovens
an
for you.
AI robot pie.
Would you like pepperoni or hot dog on your pizza? But anyway, yo, Mom Dami. By the way, on the debate stage, they were asking the moderator, would you if Trump federalized the troops and bring them to New York, would you guys support that? Raise your hand, and none of them raised their hand. That means that they don't trust our military. That's number one. And you were talking about the whole age thing, and age doesn't matter. So I was thinking about like how everybody's with Trump, right? I want to ask Trump a question, like, what would you ask Trump? What would you ask Barron Trump? Because I feel like Barron Trump is more in tune with what you and I think of. You know what I'm saying? He's more in tune to what's going on, in my opinion.
Well,
So
I would
what would
say,
you ask Barron Trump?
yeah. Well, I would say Barron is a lot. He's a lot more free, let's say, to roam and look at the things that he wants. Probably more so than his dad, the president, because he's so busy and there's a lot of people around him. What would I ask Barron? You got to keep in mind he's a college student, so everybody's still growing and learning, especially when you're that age. What would I ask Barron? I'd ask him, how often does your father ask you for political advice? That's what I'd ask him. How often does your dad ask you for political advice? And would you like it to be more? Would you like more political influence? There. And that's what I'd ask him. All right, next caller. What's your name? Where are you from?
Oh, me?
Yeah, that'd be you.
Oh, this is the water tower, man, buddy. I've been waiting to get a hold of you, bro. You're like the only one I believe anymore, bro. You know what happened at Butler? They shot a baby. Corey ain't Corey, bro. Crooks never fired a shot. I've been making reels, bro, and they all been looking at it on accident. Elon's suspending me, man, because I got in an argument with a transgender guy or some crap. But anyways, yeah, you can't make this up, bro. All I did was take some pictures of those body cams and add some music to it, and what do you know? It's a hit. I can't help it. I ain't got no donors or nothing. And I'm like, why doesn't everybody see my reels? And nobody says nothing. None is. Because they're all crooks. Get it? Crooks? Yeah, that's what they are. And they're all going to jail. You're screwed. You told on yourself. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm Paul Revere 2025, man. We've all been had. You lied to us, man. Look at the bleachers in the background of the freaking videos. Then they alter the body cams. They try to Photoshop, bro. And they splice film, and I caught where they missed. And the water tower, they kept blurring it out, but I caught when they missed, because those stupid cops.
All right, hold on a second. Wait. So hold on. Take a deep breath for me, all right? Slow down.
I'm sorry, bro.
Slow down. It's all right. No, slow down. Hey, whoa. Just take a deep breath for me. Just slow down a second. Just take a deep breath.
I got you, bro. I just hope they don't kill me, bro.
All right. I just need you to just calm down. You're going to kill yourself. You're going to have a damn heart attack on here.
Yeah, no shit. You're telling me I got PTSD, bro. Bro, I've seen trees shoot at presidents, bro. You'll never look at trees again if you've seen the trees I've seen.
Trees? Are you smoking trees?
Yeah, I have to. I got PTSD and anxiety. I'm prescribed, baby. I'm in Illinois. You can, all the killer buds.
Is it legal? Is it legal in Illinois?
Yeah, it's legal. In Pritzker, yeah, because it's a kickback for Pritzker's fat ass.
Well, he owns the he owns the weed farms.
He owns something. He has something to do with something. He passed a bill to make it legal. So where's the kickback going? And that's another thing. That's a whole different story. But yeah, somebody should investigate the Illinois Department of Corrections, huh? Huh? The inmate treasurer, the inmate commissary, Pritzker's buddy took it over, and now it went to shit. I was in prison, bro. I get time for DUIs and all kinds of petty crap.
Well, the insider. Yeah, you know how that stuff goes with that.
Oh, and please, man. I know. I come off real aggressive, but this is a real emotional thing, man. Butler really is, and I'm sorry if I piss people off. I got some guy named Unforgiven.
No. It's not that. It's just the problem is I can't. I'm trying to help you, and I can't. People can't understand you. You're talking so fast. That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to stop you from like having an aneurysm here, and I want the audience to hear what you're having to say, but you're speaking 500 words a minute. I got to take another call. I want you to call again. But next time, just take a deep breath, because I'm sure what you're saying is good, but I just can't understand it. You're talking too fast. You got to be like, this guy needs to be an auctioneer. You're an auctioneer, bro. And if that's what he talks, I mean, I gotta say, if that's how fast he can talk after smoking a J, bro. All right, next caller. What's your name? Where you from? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Next caller. What's your name? Where you from?
Doug from Yuma, Arizona.
Hey, Doug. Guess what? Trump just commuted George Santos' prison sentence. Breaking news: Trump has just commuted George Santos' prison sentence. How about that? Yeah, that's a wrong righted. He needs to do it. He needs to get Tina Peters out now.
No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah, that's
so, brother. My question, what I wanted to say is, my question to Barron would have been, why aren't you playing basketball, and just how freaking tall are you?
I believe he's 6'7".
Is that right? My goodness. Well, loving the show. You kind of made us wait like a month or so, right? But anyway, that's cool.
Well, I had to. I had to take care of some things. I had to get the new studio built.
Yeah, I get you. I had a business one time too. So, brother, I just wrote down two things. Halftime Super Bowl, the best one ever, and you would probably agree, Paul McCartney?
No, I would say the best one ever is Michael Jackson. I don't even think it's close. Paul McCartney was good. Don't get me wrong. Paul McCartney was really good, and he's an incrable performer. Honestly, it's amazing how great of a performer he still is to this day. But no, I think the best halftime show is Michael Jackson. I don't think anything else is even close. I don't think there's another Super Bowl halftime show even on the same level as Michael Jackson. That was the greatest of all time. I'd be shocked if anybody could ever top it.
Wow, I'm like what his age would be. I don't really remember it. I'll check it out. I'll go back and check it out.
Oh man, it's so good.
Can I give you a group? Can I give you a singer that you might really dig?
Sure. Yeah.
Tyson James. Have you heard of him?
Actually, that name sounds familiar, but I can't say.
Yeah, he's done hip hop. By looking at him, I don't know. I'm not sure. He kind of has that prison look, but he's like a family man. He's got like 5 kids. Most of his music now is Christian music. But he does songs like Gun Totin' Bible Thumper.
Maybe that's where I saw him. Every once in a while, I'll go into some of these Christian stations on Sirius XM on a Sunday just because I want to, I want to try to be a good Christian here. So every once in a while on a Sunday, I'll go to the Christian stations, the church stations on SXM. So that's probably, now that you say that, that's probably where I saw the name.
Yeah. Well, look, I won't take up all your time. Love talking with you, and I'll call again.
Thank you. Thank you for the call. George Santos to be freed from prison. Congratulations, George. Congratulations, man. Can't wait to talk to you when you get out. That'll be fun. Maybe we'll get you on the show. Next caller, what's your name? Where you from?
Melinda, Georgia.
All right, Melinda, go ahead.
Hey, Owen, I just wanted to say I like your show. I also wanted to see what you thought about pickleball.
Are you trying to anger me?
I'm not.
Are you trying to send me off? Are you trying to bring out mean Owen? I've been really nice. I've been really nicey. I've been very friendly today. And then you call into this show and you ask me about pickleball? Do you play pickleball?
I do.
Oh
it's
my
fun.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh no. No. Have you ever tried tennis?
Yes. I'm not really great at that though.
What is the deal? What is the allure of pickleball?
I don't know, it's fun.
I can't believe you. I don't believe you.
Why is that?
It's demeaning. You're treated like a midget. You got like this tiny little thing, a tiny little net.
Hey.
You have to bend over.
Hey.
It's got to hurt your back. It's a geriatric sport. It's a psyop.
But I'm 4'10". I'm 4'10".
Oh, now I get it. I have a friend that I used to play golf with, and he like broke his wrist or something. He got a cast on his wrist, and I saw him. I was like, hey, we got to play golf. And I'm like, oh crap, your wrist. He goes, well, I can't play golf. I can play pickleball. I was like, I'm going to break your other wrist. 4'10". No wonder you like pickleball. You get to stand straight up. You're like as tall as the net.
Yep.
Oh my! Is it popular? I actually think they call Austin, Texas, the pickleball capital of the world. So it's probably why it's probably why I have this disdain for it, because I think Austin is like the pickleball capital of the world. It's so insufferable here. It's so insufferable here.
Well, thank you. Hope you have a good night.
How do we feel about the pickleball caller? See, now what you've done is you've opened up a thing, is what you've done. You've opened up a thing where everybody is going to be calling in about pickleball. Just to anger me. I know how this goes. Pickleball, a giant corporate scam. A sport for geriatrics. That was pickleball. So that you could kind of do a little tennis type thing, racquetball type thing, but not having to move around too much. And they did corporate propaganda for a year, and they turned it into $1 billion industry. A giant corporate scam. But you know what? You know what? If you like it, and if you have fun, then good for you. There you go. But it's not fair when you're 4'10". That's not fair. That's an unfair advantage. All right, next caller. What's your name? Where you're from?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I got you loud and clear.
Cool. Hi, my name's Gordon. As you can hear, I'm British, but I actually live in Poland at the moment. So I'm watching you online, and I've been watching you for a few days. I really like your show.
Thank you. Was that story about the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, did that make headway in Poland?
It made headway all over Europe. Of course it did, dude.
Wow.
What
do the people what do they think about that?
In Europe, it's kind of like we think it was a sort of half American, half Ukrainian thing done together, but nobody will know for sure because the Swedish aren't going to release the papers on it.
Yeah. I'm stunned by it because it's like, it's clearly an act of international terrorism, and it hurts the European energy market. And they're just like, oh, you attacked Russia? Cool. Go ahead. Leave the prison. You blew up a pipeline. It's like, what?
That kind of gets what I wanted to ask you about. Like, something like I'm British, but I live in Europe, and I also have permanent residency in Bulgaria. And something has happened in Europe because of the Ukraine war and Donald Trump coming to power, and it feels as if Europe is in the process of rapidly disentangling itself from America, because we can almost see the writing on the wall. And I wanted to ask you, you are obviously an American patriot in the same way I feel that I'm a European patriot. What do you think that the future is? Because in Europe, we're watching America with a sense of disbelief and horror at what's happening. We can't believe it. And so I wanted to know what you think. Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? What do you think?
So obviously I can't really comment too much on the European issue, right? I don't go there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see the news, but it's a lot harder for me to not, I'm not boots on the ground, right? That's why you're asking me about America.
Mm-hmm.
People will claim I'm a pessimist or whatever. I'm actually optimistic in the sense that the American political pendulum is still very real. And so there's always an equal and opposite reaction to everything. And so if the Trump administration does not deliver on the things that the Trump voters wanted, then the next right-wing political movement will be even more hardcore. There will be even more activity, more action, more pressure. So there's always the American political system, the American body politic always seems to kind of find a way to correct itself. Now, the problem is our politicians are so corrupt that it's nearly impossible for the American people to get anything they want done because they just have no power in D.C. The power in D.C. lies in the hands of the lobbyists. So, but I see an awakening. I see a global awakening. I'm generally a positive person. I think most people are good. I think the fact that we're becoming aware of a lot of the evils in our world, a lot of the corruption in our government and the media is a good thing. And there's always an equal and opposite reaction to all of this. But no, just like I think we're going to see some people kind of move to the left in the next 2 years because the Republicans have become so kind of cringe and ineffective. I think the same thing will happen, and the pendulum will swing back. And then I think the next big right wing populist movement will actually have to get stuff done. So I'm positive for the future. I think that there's going to be trials and tribulations, but I'm positive for the future. I think people want a good life. I think people all around the world want a good life. And I feel like there's going to be this culmination with the internet and AI and everything politically happening. I think there's going to be a culmination eventually where the whole world, and maybe it starts in America, but the whole world is going to be so fed up with our corrupt officials, our corrupt government, our corrupt leaders, our corrupt religious leaders, our corrupt political leaders, our corrupt media leaders, that there's going to be a massive correction. And I think it's already starting to happen. We just haven't really caught tread politically yet.
I agree with you on that. I do think there is something like that happening, but I'm speaking from an outside perspective. And what I've noticed is that, like, now Europe, and I don't include the UK in that, but like Europe is more united than it's ever been. And being a European and aware of history, I look at America and what I see now reminds me of what happened with Yugoslavia. And I was about 9 or 10 years old when that happened. And I can remember sitting in my living room watching on television as Yugoslavia broke apart. And all these people who used to be part of one country started attacking each other. And I have to say, watching from the outside, I have a really bad feeling. I think in the short term, something really bad could happen in America. And I just want you to know, do you have that sense, or do you think it's going to be okay? Because I don't. I can see something really bad happening. And I think that will be the shock that causes change. But I'm not optimistic in the short term, because it seems to me like it's like there are two different countries inside one border. And I cannot see how the situation in America reconciles itself without some terrible thing happening.
Yeah, well, so what the phenomenon that I think you're describing is whenever there is a movement, an organic movement or awakening, the powers that be will throw something at us to either redirect it or to squander it. And so I think that's, I don't know if that's exactly what you mean. That's kind of what I think about when I think about that phenomenon of trying to stop any organic movements or anything, any awareness that's happening. False flag, war, some other big event, some other black swan event that they always try to scuttle this stuff with. So yeah, I am in fear of that. But I still think the people that run the planet, the shadow government, right? The shadow hands, the shadow figures, they're not dumb. They're smart. They know what they're doing, but they're also in a bit of an unknown era. They don't have control of the means of communication like they used to. And they certainly don't have control now over the media like they used to. So this is kind of an unknown factor where they tried to scuttle it with censorship, but now Elon Musk has kind of shattered that. And, X and Rumble have kind of forced now all the other big platforms to stop censoring, because if they keep censoring, they're not going to do their best business. So they're kind of forced to react to that. So I'm saying if something happens, people aren't going to believe it, and then it's going to cause some sort of a fallout. So basically, false flags, I don't think false flags are effective as they used to be. I don't think the different lies that they tell us to drag us into wars really work anymore. And now every time something like that happens, everybody is extremely skeptical, and then they look at whatever comes next as the agenda. So there is a mass awakening, and there's going to be a mass response to counter that. It's really, it's an exciting time to be alive. My biggest fear is what is the world going to look like in 10 years once all of this goes online, once AI takes over and everything else that comes with it, because it's happening, it's inevitable, whether I like it or not, it's going to happen. So that's my biggest fear is what is life going to look like? I look back, and I guess every generation does it, but it feels like it's at hyper speed now. You know, I look back at my life growing up, and I'm like, these kids won't have this. They won't. Their world and the things that they experience. It's a different world. It's a totally different world, and now it's going to be a completely different world in 10 years. So I just wonder how much of the actual human experience, how much of the actual life experience are we sacrificing to try to make our lives easier or more accessible with this technology? That's my big fear, is that we're going to lose some of our humanity. We're going to lose some of the human experience as we go into this digital technotronic age.
Can I ask you just one more question? I've noticed your videos when you're talking about the Israel lobby, and I tend to agree with you on that. And obviously, because I'm European, we have a very different history on that question. And one of the things that, again, for me from the outside looking in, it appears to me that when the American boomers die off, that the relationship between America and Israel is either going to dissolve or undergo a very, very massive change. And do you agree with that? Because
100%.
It seems to me like it's over.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's just a matter of time. And if I would expand on that, what I see happening as well, and I thank you for the call. It's great to hear from you, international callers. If you ever want to call in, thank you for calling. Running a little late because I wanted to hear from you, calling in internationally. What I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing, because now, you know, I'm able to talk to people all over the world, and I do. I talk to people all over the world. And it seems like, I would say it probably with Gen X, that maybe got the first introduction to the internet, and then my generation, the millennials, which was kind of raised in the internet. To me, young people all over the world, and I've talked to them everywhere. I've talked to them in Ukraine, Russia, India, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, all over South America, Mexico, Canada. All the young people I talk to, and let's say 40 or younger. Let's just say 40 or younger for this. Every young person I talk to they don't like war. They don't like government. And they don't have hate in their heart. They want to get along with everybody. So it's like, you know, we don't like the idea of globalism in the concept of a corporate global government that basically treats us like cattle on planet Earth, that basically rations out our entire life from birth to death. So we don't want that. But the idea of globalization, the concept of globalization isn't inherently a bad thing. It's just technology is shrinking the world. So I do believe that once these evil bastards that have been running our planet with their evil schemes and their evil agendas and their deceptions and their wars and their thievery and all of it, once they're gone, I don't think there's a lineage there. I don't think they have anybody to leave their evil network to. I don't think anybody wants it. Now, you might have some that decide to step up and try to run it, like maybe an Alex Soros type. People don't want it. So I think, you know, the Israel deal with once the older generation Americans, sadly, die off, Israel will have no support left. It's very clear that's the case. But that's like an isolated thing. I think the idea of the military-industrial complex comes to an end. I think this idea that we have to solve problems with war comes to an end. I think the practice of the never-ending wars, the regime change wars, all of this stuff. And once you introduce the new technology when it comes to the energy sector, I think it's all done. I really do. And then the issue we're going to be dealing with is the AI technotronic surveillance grid, maybe robot, cyborg, I don't know. But the issues that we have, it feels like they're all coming to an end. It feels like this stuff is not popular anymore. The new generations of people all around the world don't want it. So I do think you're looking at a 10-year period where those issues kind of go away, but now we're going to be dealing with AI. We're going to be dealing with a robot takeover. We're going to be dealing with a bunch of different issues. Maybe there will be scarcity. But from my experience talking to young people all over the world, we all seem to think the same thing. We might have political differences, might be on the left, might be on the right, but at the end of the day, we all want to get along. We don't want wars. We think that the current leaders, our elders, we think a lot of them are evil. We think they're liars. And so I think that that is coming to an end. I think that that is coming to an end. I don't know. That's a complex answer to a complex question, but that's kind of how I see it. All right. A little long today. When you get an international caller, you got to respect it. You got to respect it. Sorry. Hey, thank you for calling. Sorry to the other callers that we did not get to today. But we'll be back on Monday. Same time, same channel. And I say this wholeheartedly. I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your life. Have some fun. Have some love. And then come back here Monday and say hello. We'll see you later.
To Ohio, but my city was gone. There was no train station. There was no downtown. South Tower had disappeared. All my favorite places.